evening, racers and race fans, and welcome to round number 5 of the 2025-2026 season here of Sunday Fun Day Racing at Steeplechase Ski Resort. We are here for the 5th round of 12 for this season, and we are back after some eventful races the weekends of December 13th and 14th at the end of last year, and a couple weeks ago we were here for rounds 3 and 4, Saturday January 3rd and Sunday January 4th. But first and foremost, we are here today to start off round number 5 as we are nearing the midpoint of our 2025-2026 Sunday Fun Day Racing season. Speaking of, while we are at it, just want to give a quick call out to some of our racers to start things off for the evening. We got to do a call up to staging, so if we could have the racers in the first 4 races of the evening, that would be race 1, 120 stock, race 2, 120 improved stock, race 3, a quintuple fight, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, 200 stock 9 to 12, snow scoot, snow sport, and junior girls under 200cc, and then race 4, transition 8 to 10, and junior 10 to 13. If you could all start making your way up to the staging area, we will be going green flag racing for the heats in just a few minutes here. But in the meantime, my name is Zach Bailey. I'm here as a part of MBTV Sports, and join with me in the booth tonight, we have Dan Bailey as well. Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Look at that beautiful sunset just to the west of Steeplechase Ski Resort, which is where we are in Mazeppa, Minnesota, as we prepare for, as you've said a couple of times already, our 5th round. The first 4 rounds of X Racing's Sunday Fun Day of the 2025-2026 season has been wonderfully well received, not only by those of you watching online via the live streaming coverage at MBTV Sports, but also by the competitors. No fewer than 150 plus competitors in those first 4 rounds. It's a bit on the chilly side tonight, but still another good showing of racers who have congregated on this small town in southeastern Minnesota to have some snow cross fun.
Exactly, a chilly Saturday night, but we still have triple-digit number of race entries, so we have a lot of great racing action coming at you folks for this evening. We have 16 races that will be hitting the track, and for those of you who may not have been to one of these races before, haven't seen the live streaming, a quick run of show for what things are going to look like tonight. We are actually going to go through the full program 3 separate times. We just finished up practice, so that doesn't count as one of the full sessions, but right now we are about to start off our heat races where we will go through the full 16 races one time through. We'll take a brief intermission before we come back for our first round of main events, where we will run through them all a second time. We will do one final brief intermission as well, possibly do a little bit of track prep, make sure everything's all good to go, and then we will run through it a third and final time for a second round of main events on the evening.
That is one of the things that Joe Duncan and the X Racing crew does that is unique but pretty cool in the snowcross format here. It gives those racers with 2 main events twice the opportunity to take some hardware home. And by hardware, I of course mean, some trophies and some plaques and awards for those who have good runs on the evening. Also gives some racers an opportunity to double up. Maybe they have a great first main event and they can back it up with another great second main event. But it really is playing into that name of this series, Sunday Fun Day, even though we're here on a chilly Saturday night, still part of the Sunday Fun Day series. And the focus really is on that first part of the second word, fun. Joe Duncan said, I know what you racers are here for. You want to have a good time, but you also want to take some bling home with you at the end of the night. Well, what the heck? Let's throw 2 main events at you. They still have their qualifying heat races. Maybe they can take that heat race and gain upon something that they learned in practice and improve their lap time, improve their comfort level maybe on their sled heading into those 2 main events. So that's a unique aspect of the Sunday Fun Day program. Twice the fun, 3 races for every racer, more if they're in multiple classes. So as you were just mentioning, Zach, a heat and then 2 main events. It's a time for everybody to shine.
Couldn't have put it better myself. And one thing that I also want to stress further, you brought up earlier, those racers have been out there for a practice session already, but we're going to send them out for the heats here momentarily. And though we do have the same general shape of the track, a few of the same areas, I will say from, the first 2 races, the first weekend to the 3rd and 4th races a couple weekends ago to now, this track has changed quite a bit. You know, we were out there doing a track walk earlier on. We have a totally different start-finish line. Now it's a jump leading into the rhythm section rollers. We have some, as you can see on the screen right now, for those of you live streaming on mbtvsports.com, we have a couple rollers through the climb leading up to the start-finish line. So, you know, those racers are going out there, even if they have been here for all 4 of the other race dates so far this year, they're having to tackle a semi-different track than what we've seen these past few weeks.
Yeah, and we also noticed in our track walk earlier today a slightly different consistency that the snow is presenting the racers tonight. We have some light snow on top. We have some icy snow due to the way that they create the snow here at the ski slope, and also with the warming trend that came through a couple of days ago and then needing to make some more snow. But it's also, surprisingly, a pretty deep snow. It's a softer snow that, you know, as you're walking in it, your boots are falling, you know, several inches into the snow. These sleds are going to be optimally designed tonight to scoot across the top of the snow. So that just adds to the fun of a season-long multi-event series such as Sunday Fun Day. The race track and the snow that they raced on a couple of weeks ago is different than what they're going to see tonight. You had mentioned that the track is similar to what we've seen in the past, but there are some changes, and we can go into that a bit in a moment. But first, we're going to make another quick announcement to racers in the pit area to get over to staging, and that would include competitors in those first 4 races. We do need you in staging, please.
Yes, so if we could have racers in race number 1, 120 stock, you should be in the staging area now as we're about to go green flag racing any moment now. Race number 2, 120 improved stock, will follow. And then it'll be race 3, the quintuple threat race, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, 200 stock 9 to 12, Snow Scoot Snow Sport, and junior girls under 200 cc. That'll be race number 3, should be up in the staging area, along with race number 4, transition 8 to 10, and junior 10 to 13.
The thing that is so neat and so fun about the track layout here at Steeplechase Ski Resort for the X Racing Sunday Fun Day program is that it is a combination of a little bit of everything. At the very least of it, you could think of it as an oval, right? We have a front straightaway and a back straightaway. But as you were mentioning, Zach, earlier, we throw in some of those motocross aspects, hence the term snowcross. We've got our rhythm sections. We've got a tabletop jump at the finish line. We've got a fall away, and we've got some tight corners. On the back straightaway, we not only have a left-hand turn coming out of what you might refer to as turn number 2, but then we have a high, almost vertical climb to a right-hand turn. So that brings into aspect a little bit of kind of the road racing configuration.
Exactly, and to throw it in there, not only is it a left-hand, right-hand tight squeeze, but it's also a split lane section there as well. So throwing another curve at those riders on top of that.
So these racers have many things that they have to think about just getting onto the track, figuring out what line is going to work for them. We have seen in weeks past the portion of the track that you're seeing on the MBTV Sports live stream right now, we call the West End High Banks. That is, as the name would imply, at the west end of this oval. You could call it turns 3 and 4 if you want, but we have noticed that a majority of the competitors really enjoy the inside lane down here at the West End High Banks. However, you get down to the east end where we have the turn number 1 after the front straightaway and turn number 2, which is down a bit lower in the layout. We have seen racers in the last couple of events using the inside lane, using the extreme outside lane, which is about 50 feet wide, and we've seen racers using the mid lane as well. So that gives these racers quite a bit of variance trying to figure out which lane is going to work better for them, which lane is going to be open and available for them to choose, and how they want to attack that track.
Yes, and that being said, we're officially sending out our first race of the evening. So these first 2 racers out here, these are going to be our 120 stock and our 120 improved stock classes. We're going to do things slightly different here for these youngsters. You know, these are racers between the ages of 6 years old being the elder, all the way down to the youngest racer, 3 years old. My apologies, 7 years old is the oldest racer, but still,
The
racers aged 3 to 7 going to be out here. So instead of doing the start in the starting gate and doing the full track as we are normally, we're also going to be doing things a little bit different here. We're sending them out to the front straightaway, doing a little bit of a mini version of the track for them. So that being said, let's start off with our first starting lineup of the evening, race number 1, 120 stock class.
Riding the number 7 machine will be Peyton Schultz out of Zimmerman, Minnesota. On the 22, it'll be Nash Betterly from Cook, Minnesota.
On the 25B, racing out of Foley, Minnesota, it's the Skyma Exteriors Jaeger Construction, the Osseo Nickel Barnes of Bowden Nelson, alongside Elgin, Minnesota's Leighton Dorn on the 29.
Zumbrotto, Minnesota's Gus Rude is on the 41 machine, with Millville, Minnesota's Felix Ryan on the 107.
On the 111 out of Malacca, Minnesota, it's Hollis Hoskins and Benton Rolfe racing the 168 from Lake City, Minnesota.
Archer Ledford brought his sled up from Lake City, Minnesota. Archer's on the 351. Jack Lobbs from St. Joseph, Minnesota is on the 623, and Colton Lance from Claremont, Minnesota is on the 709. Now these 120 stock and the next heat race, which is the 120 improved stock class, will be running a, well, we could call it a micro oval, a bit of a custom oval. We're going to give them a start here right before the finish line. They'll run down the front straightaway. Then, instead of taking a left-hand turn, they're actually going to take a right-hand turn and come back up towards the finish line, take another right back onto the front straightaway. So they have a micro oval that these youngsters will be competing on. However, it goes without saying that on this front straightaway, including that finish line that they're going to get a taste of here at the start, there are still some obstacles that they need to work through and improve their racing knowledge about, and those would be some of those rhythm section rollers on the front, on the end of that front straightaway now.
Yeah, so even though they are doing a condensed, smaller version of the track, you know, they'll still be seeing some of the key features of this track that we have out there. So we're excited to see what these youngsters are going to be able to bring. You can see them out on the front straightaway right now, getting all prepped and ready to go. The flagman's giving them the sign, seeing how they're going to look. And it looks like they might be running through a pace lap here to start off, just making sure that these youngsters know exactly where they will be going on the track. So there, they're going to send them out kind of one by one, let them take a quick pace lap. So they'll go up and over that start-finish line jump, hit that first roller, second roller, third roller, and then they're going to take a tight hairpin right-hand corner off of the track. They're going to skip those last 2 rollers that we have there, and they're going to go up the frontage road, if you'll call it, of the track. They have a nice little roller there before they take a hairpin right just before that start-finish line jump to get back onto the main track proper as well. We have one youngster going up and over the edge there.
Yeah, so these youngsters, as Zach was mentioning, from 7 down to 3 years of age, still just learning the fundamentals about keeping a sled under control. It's not quite so much about winning a race, although we all know that they want to win a race, right? It's more about learning how to control these machines and perhaps fostering a further enjoyment of this sport that we love, snowmobiling. So these youngsters are getting a little track time here with an abbreviated micro oval at the end of the front straightaway. And I would be lying if I said that I knew who was leading right now, because we've got these youngsters stretched all the way around the micro oval here.
And we've got a little pile up there going into that hairpin right-hand corner.
Jack Labs on the 623 machine, and I believe that was Bowden Nelson that I saw there on the 25B, or it might have been Nash Betterly on the double deuce. But there we've actually got a pass for position on the frontage road with their front straightaway. Now they've got to take that right-hand turn around a youngster who's still getting back onto his sled.
Yes, and the shocking thing is, the person who had been in the lead beforehand, that 623 of Jack Labs, he is actually that youngster out there that we've been talking about, just 3 years old. Now, Dan, I could barely walk in a straight line at 3 years old, let alone imagine leading a snowmobile race out on the track. So, you know, Jack Labs, awesome to see him out there. You know, all of these youngsters in general, it's great to see these really are going to be the future of this sport. So, you know, even though it may not be the high-flying action we're used to, it's still great to see them out there getting their laps in.
There you can see the 7 of Peyton Schultz trying to make an inside run to the backside of, I believe that was Jack Labs again on the 623. So another thing that I have noticed about these youngsters, whether it's in the 120 stock as the checkered flag flies to get us a first-time winner on round number 5, Saturday night portion of the X Racing Sunday Fun Day program. One of the things that I've noticed that I really love seeing with these youngsters is not only are they out there having some fun, battling each other on their sleds, but as soon as they're done, they're back there in the pits and they're having snowball fights and they're chasing each other around and having a good time. So not only are they learning the art of motorsports competition, but they're also making friends. And I would argue that many of them will probably end up being longtime friends because they are in this sport and they will probably be back again for the remainder of this season and hopefully seasons to come as well. So we have completed their first run. As you can see, we're actually bringing them right back to the staging area or their starting area, and we're going to run them again, give them an opportunity to run these 2 main events for the 120 stock class.
Yes, now if you'll remember that last time we sent them out there, we had that kind of pace lap to start off, so I almost wonder if that was kind of their practice session.
Yeah.
We didn't send them out for a true practice earlier on, so now we're going to send them out for their first official heat.
All right, so these youngsters got their practice session in, able to learn the track, get themselves comfortable again on their machines. Doesn't matter if it's a Cat or a Ski-Doo or a Polaris. We're seeing a little bit of everything out there, but those youngsters have got that practice session in, and now we're going to give them an opportunity for their first real green flag action on round number 5 of X Racing Sunday Fun Day program.
Yes, and this just in. So what we're going to be doing for these youngsters out there right now, just because we do have a semi-later program on these Saturday nights, so we are actually going to run all of their races right now. So that was their practice session. We're not going to be doing heats for these youngsters, but we are about to do 2 back-to-back feature races for them.
Just got bedtime approaching.
Yes, exactly. Want to make sure they're able to get inside where it's nice and warm, have them get all of their racing out right at the forefront, and then again also we don't have to keep transitioning those tough blocks back to main track, mini track. So right now we are going to go into the first feature race for the 120 stock class.
There we go. There we've got our 11 sled coming up onto the line. And I think we even have another one. I apologize. They're staging the next race behind these competitors. Those will be the 120 improved stock racers. And there is our start. Green flag is out. So this is officially now race number 1, round number 5 for X Racing's Sunday Fun Day program at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. These youngsters, as Zach had mentioned, ranging in age from 7 all the way down to 3 years old, are on the track and learning this sport that we enjoy so much, snowcross. There's the 25 of Bowden Nelson holding on to the number 2 spot as they make that right-hand turn back onto the big track front straightaway.
Bowden Nelson actually your race leader right now on the 25B. That was the pace car out front leading the way. Right behind Bowden, the 168 of Benton Rolfe holding on to that second place spot.
Gotcha, putting a rider a lap down. I believe that is the 29 of Leighton Dorn. Leighton is stuck on the outside there, that right-hand turn to get back onto the big track front straightaway.
Bowden Nelson, he's been putting on a heck of a show for us all season long, I believe. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have all of our stats in front of us, but I believe he has done almost a clean sweep in this class all throughout the year. He's typically a front runner, has won quite a few of the races. If not, he is always in those top 3. So Nelson, definitely a face to recognize out there. Right there, you can see the 623 of Jack Labs, our 3-year-old racer, getting some laps in as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you folks who are watching on the NBTV Sports live stream in on a little secret. Zach is a stats master, and I'm not asking for a "oh woe is me" response, but it is so cold here that Zach's stats laptop froze up, so we can't reference our stacks for these stats rather for these youngsters. Look at this 6-rider pileup here in the right-hand turn, including the 22 of Nash Betterly, as they try to figure things out and head back down to turns number 1 and 2 and that right-hand turn onto the frontage road.
That's another thing about this class here. You know, they might be youngsters going at a little bit slower speeds than some of the other classes, but we consistently have some very close racing action in this class. And there we have the checkered flag flying for the 25B of Bowden Nelson, taking the win today for Jagger Construction, the Osseo Nickel Barn, Nick's Electric, Put 'em Up Taxidermy, and CNA Pro Skis, among others. Rest of the field going to follow in tow behind.
4-year-old Colton Lance having a hair-raising moment there right at the waving checkered flag as Colton got the eject from the sled seat there, was in the snow, but very quickly got back up onto the sled. We're going to try and fire it up. There goes Colton back under power, headed down the rhythm section at the end of the main front straightaway. So that will be the end of main number 1 for the 120 stock competitors.
You're going to see our pace sled take them off of the track, and we'll get them all lined up again in the staging area for the following race. Right now we're going to lead into race number 2 of the evening, our 120 improved stock class, where we're going to have 3 competitors making their way out there. Starting off with the 292 of Elliot Massman racing out of Sauk Center, Minnesota, alongside James Labs on the 623 from St. Joseph, Minnesota.
Cooper Schoen from Elk River, Minnesota is on the Aeroplax 823. So Elliot, Jameson, and Cooper are going to be our 3 competitors in the 120 improved stock class. There you can see them lined up with the 823 of Cooper Schoen on the, well, we'll call it the outside, the right side of that 3 sled lineup. And the 292, I believe, was Elliot Massman on the inside there. Nope, right in the middle, actually. And it's Jameson Labs on the 623, lining up on the inside or the left side of that 3-rider lineup. So this will be main event. I believe we're going to give them a practice session. Again, give these 3 youngsters a practice session. Then we'll bring them back up here to the staging area for their first of 2 main events. So those of you who are watching via the live stream as we turn them loose for their practice session here in the 120 improved stock class, those of you who are watching via the live streaming coverage might be wondering the difference between the 120 stock and the 120 improved stock class.
Yeah, so for that first class we had out there, that was our 120 stock class. As the name implies, it is a fully stock class. Sleds in that class must run the following gearing ratios. The Polaris are going to set to run 420. Articat, Yamaha, and Skidoo are set to run 410. They can alter gears, you know, run a taller top or a smaller bottom, but the final drive ratio must equal what is called out. No studs are allowed in that class, and they must also have a 6850 RPM rev limiter ran during this class. On this class that we're seeing out there right now, the 120 improved stock class, again, it's as the name implies, it is improved from stock. They can change their gear ratios. They don't have to set to those ratio runs that we had in the previous class. Still no studs allowed in this class. They still need to have that 6850 RPM rev limiter being ran, but they are able to make some adjustments to it. They were given 2 laps here to get a little bit of practice going, but it looks like now we are flagging them to a standstill here. We will get them all set back up back at the top of the hill on the start-finish line jump. Then we will go into their first feature race.
Unfortunately, it looks like Jameson Labs, I believe, on the Cat, the 623, having an issue keeping that green machine running. As the 823 of Cooper Schoen gets another lap, and here comes the 292 of Elliot Massman, stopping to check on his buddy. Elliot's like, everything all right here?
You know, like we were saying earlier, though they may be competitors out on the track, at the end of the day, a lot of these youngsters are friends in the pit area. You can see them hanging out, playing around, moving around. But, you know, when they see one of their competitors having some issues on the track, they always like to check in with them, make sure everything is good to go. And unfortunately, looks like we do have Dad pushing the 623 of Jameson Labs off the track there. So Jameson's night has come to a early close.
That's unfortunate. Hopefully they can throw a box of wrenches at it in a couple of minutes here. I'm not sure if if this is a night-ending situation for Jamison or not, but maybe they can get that thing refired in time for perhaps the second main event. But we're going to line our other two racers up onto the start line here and prepare to turn them loose. So this will be a good old-fashioned mano-a-mano battle, a one-on-one between Elliott and Cooper. Find out who has got what it takes to maybe be a main event winner. These racers in the 120 improved stock class, also youngsters, but maybe a year or two older than some of those that we saw running in the 120 stock class. Elliott is 8 years old. Cooper is 7 years old. Jamison is 5 years old. So still, we've got some youngsters who are just learning the sport. And away they go with main event number 1 for a 120 improved stock class.
It's going to be a drag race down the line, side by side into that first hairpin turn.
Who's going to lift first?
Slight advantage to the 823 of Schoen, but he goes high and wide, which gives a chance for Massman to pull away with the early race lead as we officially put our first full lap into the books.
Yeah, you'll see these youngsters are going to have to battle the exact same conditions and feedback that racers are going to experience on the bigger sleds. You saw that Schoen led into that first turn, couldn't quite get the skis to get a bite, ended up pushing wide on what we could call turn number 2 there, and gave up the lead to the 692 of Elliott Massman. Massman now trying to put a little distance between his Polaris and the 823 of Schoen.
Schoen not going without a fight, though. He's still keeping Massman in his sights. You know, we only have the 2 racers out there for a little mano-a-mano action, but we've still got a close battle. Just half a sled length separating our top 2 racers as the white flag flies. 1 more lap to go. Schoen looked to the inside, wasn't able to make a move there. Goes up on 1 ski, and it looks like that has sold it for Massman.
Yeah, Cooper gave it everything he could, drove it a little deeper into that turn. Checkered flag is out. Elliott Massman's going to pick up main event number 1 win with Cooper right behind him in second. But Cooper did not roll over and give up. He drove it deep into that right-hand turn at the end of the straightaway. The skis just didn't quite take the bite that he had wanted to, and he will have to come back and see if he can improve on their second main event, which will be coming up here shortly because we will bring the 120 stock competitors. Oh, slight change. Looks like we're going to go right into race number 3. We'll bring those minis, those micros out a bit later. So race number 3 is going to be a multi-class mixed gate, including Pro, Super 225 kids, 200 stock, Snow Scoot, Snow Sport, and junior girls under 200.
Yeah, I think this one might take the cake for the most classes I've ever seen represented in a single race. But we want to make sure we have enough racers out there to put on a good show. So your starting lineup is going to look like this. The lone entry in the Pro 206 class out of Foley, Minnesota. It's the 25B of Bowden Nelson.
In the Super 225 kids class, couple of competitors, Waconia, Minnesota's Auburn Owen on the 17, and Buffalo, Minnesota's Easton Geyer on the Grumpy's Outdoor number 99.
In the 200 stock 9 to 12 class, another lone competitor racing for Climb CNA Pro Skis, Prater Mountain Properties. It is the 398 of Big Lake, Minnesota's Isla Board Shots.
3 competitors in the Snow Scoot, Snow Sport 88 to 92 class. Leo Schmideker from Prior Lake on the number 8. Carson Krosak from Prior Lake on the 75.
And then the 75 as well of Addison Schmideker out of Prior Lake, Minnesota as well, racing for DLO Excavating and Demolition. And then all alone in the junior girls under 200cc class, we have the lone entry of Midwest Detail Supplies, number 168, out of Lake City, Minnesota. It is Gracie Rolfe.
So a mixture of classes in the gate, but we are going to throw them onto the big track here. So we are going to see all of the rhythm sections. We're going to see all of the left and right-hand turns. We're going to see all of the elevation changes. And we will talk a little bit more about these elevation changes here momentarily, but we will give you an opportunity to view them, those of you who are watching via the live stream on MBTV Sports, as race number 3 is about ready to come your direction.
Which gives us a chance to give another quick reminder to those racers in the grandstands right now. So we're about to start race number 3. Race number 4, Transition 8 to 10 and Junior 10 to 13. Race 5, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12 and Junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17. And Race 6, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8 should all be in the staging area right now. Races 7, 8, and 9 should begin making your way up to the staging area if you haven't already.
And there is the green light that will allow our competitors in race number 3 to rip their way out of the track. First speed over the finish line, tabletop jump, and down through the rhythm section into turn number 1.
Early race leader was the 17 of Auburn Owen, setting the pace, leading the charge. She's got company hot on her tail, though. We're going to go through the split lane section, past the Send It Squeeze, make our way down to the Black Diamond drop, but then we've got a nice 5-pack of racers right behind the 398 of Isla Borgshots, sitting in 3rd place currently. Up front, though, that 2-rider battle for the lead still raging on strong between Auburn and the 99, I believe that was, of Easton Geyer.
Yeah. Oh, and just like that, the 17 machine of Owen has an issue right after the finish line jump. Oh, look out, look out, look out. Everybody is able to sneak by safely, but Auburn, has an issue right after the finish line jump, and that 17 stalls right near the rhythm rollers at the end of the front straightaway.
But check out that 4-pack battle for, I believe, this would now be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yep. Possibly 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. But a nice little 4-pack battle. Up front, though, it's still the 99 of Easton Geyer leading the charge in that Super 225 kids class. Going to put another lap in the books here. And pulling off to the side. Not quite sure what is going on with Easton here.
Pulling several of our competitors off the track there. Have to be honest, not quite sure what's transpiring there, but our top 5 have all slowed down on the front straightaway. They're on the outside of the track, and here come some other competitors that are going to rejoin them. I think these youngsters maybe just misunderstood the flagging situation. They're actually off the track outside of turn number 1. There, we're going to bring them back up to speed as they head down the Send It Squeeze. That's that left-hand turn as they begin the process of actually going down the ski hill.
Now, one thing to keep in mind here is, though these may not be youngsters as young as our 3-year-old racer that we had in the previous races, but they are still young out there. Our youngest racer out on the track right now is just a mere 5 years old, and our eldest racer is 14, so these still are youngsters out there, still getting to understand and learn about, some of the racing signs, conditions, and stuff like that. So every once in a while, we might see a situation like this pop up again, but it looks like we are back to green flag racing action as normal.
There's our race leader coming to the split lane wall jump in the northeast corner of the track. That would be turn number 2. And the live video feed just does not do it justice. It is a wall jump in name, not only in name, but in fact, it is almost a vertical wall coming out of that left-hand turn that these sleds have to climb before they get to that right-hander on the back straightaway. But there they complete another lap at the start-finish line as our competitors, top 2 at least, complete the front straightaway.
Yes, I heard over the radio there, one of the early race leader we have right there is the 75, one of our snow sport competitors. We do unfortunately have 2 75 racers in that class. So I'm not sure it's either Carson Krochak or Addison Schmeideker, but one of those 75 racers is currently out front in the lead.
And these top 2 here, not separated by very much snow, so we could see a late race challenge here. I'm not sure if it's going to develop, but they come down to the start-finish line to complete another lap. The checkered flag flies, and that will wrap up the first heat for race number 3 competitors in the Pro 206 Super 225 Kids.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
the LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
And after a quick little commercial break, we are officially back to some racing action here for race number 4, where we're going to have a dual class again in the junior 10 to 13 class. The 052 of Levi Rostad out of Zumbrota, Minnesota. Brentley Krusmark racing the 109 from Mazeppa, Minnesota, and the 707 of Elk River, Minnesota's Easton Norman making the call.
Those 3 competitors, as Zach said, in the junior 10 to 13-year-old class. The other class that'll be on the line and in the gate for race number 4 is transition 8 to 10-year-olds. Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota, has rolled the Schema Exteriors Jaeger Construction 25K into the gate as we get ready for this 4-racer battle. Heat race number 4 for both transition 8-10-year-olds and junior 10 to 13-year-olds.
So we're slowly but surely making our way up in the ranks of these classes as the green flag flies, and now you can see we got a little bit of extra speed behind these racers as we're 3 wide drag racing it down to the first corner.
Yeah, 3 wide, but all 4 of them are in the mix here as the 4th place sled is right there trying to find an opening. Here they come around the send it squeeze left-hand turn. They get over that wall jump. Right-hander sets them onto the back straightaway, and they will head west.
Early race leader was the 052 of Levi Rostad. Rostad has now dropped back slightly in the field as our top 2 competitors battling out front. We see a little touch and grabbing there going on in turns 3 and 4, and it's the 109 of Brentley Krusmark, currently in the race lead in that junior 10 to 13 class.
So we saw the top 2 get together in the West End High Banks there. Right behind them, the battle for 3rd and 4th almost boiled over as they got together side by side as well. All 4 of them still able to race on, but the top 2 are in a nice little battle. The 109 and the 25K are running 1st and 2nd.
Don't look now, though. We have another competitor trying to get into the mix. I believe that's the 707 of Easton Norman sitting in 3rd. Up front, though, our top 2 racers, Brentley Krusmark and the 25K of Cashton Nelson. Now, though Nelson is sitting in 2nd overall, he is currently leading that transition 8 to 10 class. And right as I say it, he moves back to 3rd overall as the 707 of Norman's able to get by him.
Yeah, you know, that is another thing that's interesting about snowcross, very similar to what you would see in the motocross races, as we've got that side-by-side battle, again, almost boiling over for the lead as they get together in the West End High Banks there. They cross the line there, and is that the checkered flag that I saw? I may have missed it, but no, they're still under power as they head down into turn number 1. But even though we have multiple classes on the track at the same time, they're still going to battle for every inch that they can.
Yes, at the end of the day, you know, though they may have a secured 1st, 2nd, 3rd place finish in the books, you know, racers at heart are always going to battle until the end, no matter who they're racing against. Right now, it's still the 109 of Brentley Krusmark out front. He's been able to set a little bit of a gap between him and Norman, as now the checkered flag flies. Norman going to have to settle for a hard-fought 2nd place. Krusmark, though, going to be your heat race winner for Krusmark Motorsports out of Mazeppa, Minnesota. And Cashton Nelson, though taking 3rd place overall, going to take the W in that transition 8 to 10 heat race.
So a feisty battle there on the big track in race number 4 as those youngsters were giving it everything they could. We get ready for race number 5 now. Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12 and junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17. In the 8 to 12-year-old kids Ditchbanger class, we have Amelia Tesmer from Millville riding the 33 and Landon Podine from Stewartville, Minnesota on the Podine's Power Equipment 555.
In the junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17 class, we have 5 competitors coming at you. Out of Mazeppa, Minnesota, it's the 15 of Callan Wybush, the 41 of Nora Tesmer, 114 of Landon Olivio, Briggs Grove on the 310, Julia Olsen on the 521 as we are racing.
6 of them up to speed. I believe the 7th racer may have had trouble getting out of the start gate. Oh, there, I think he just zipped by, headed down the front straightaway. But there is our early race leader, the 521 of Julia Olsen.
Olsen putting a nice little gap there between her and the rest of her competitors. 1 lap in and already I'd say about a third of a straightaway advantage over our 2nd place racer. Then we got a nice tight battle for 3rd and 4th raging on as well.
Boy, there is a lot of speed there as that racer comes from 4th up to 3rd now, made the pass down to the west end, completed it coming out of the high banks, and is now trying to reel in the top 2. Still the 521 of Julia Olsen, your race leader, as she drops down the back black diamond drop headed towards turns 3 and 4.
Coming out of the west end high banks, gonna make her way up the climb through that new little triple section, rhythm section, right behind Olsen. Can't quite catch a number on that sled, but slowly but surely, not quite reeling in, but staying in the sights of Olsen.
Yeah, as long as you can keep that leader at least visually within your frame of reference, that gives you an opportunity or some hope maybe that you could close the gap and throw at least one more challenge at him. So here comes Julia out of the final turn onto the Hail Mary Highway that we like to call it, the front stretch, to complete this lap and take the flag.
And make their way through the east end of the track and move on down into the Send It Squeeze. Now, one thing about this track that you may notice so far from racing, doesn't really show as much on the live stream, but that Send It Squeeze area that we've been calling earlier, most of the track here does have about a, I'd say 50 to 70 foot width. We go down into the Send It Squeeze there in the northeast side of the track, and it goes down to about 15 feet wide, so squeezing those competitors down. But Olsen is able to get through with the heat race win for Olsen Plumbing and Heating of Montevideo, PAR Piping, Olsen Custom Farms, and BuyRaceShirts.com, taking the win in the Junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17 class.
So as Zach was just saying, the Send It Squeeze is quite a bit tighter than the rest of the track we have. As a matter of fact, in some of the prior events, actually seen racers not quite able to complete that tight left-hand turn in that narrow pass, actually jump the berm, and we've had a couple of sleds head a bit further down the slopes than they had hoped for. We're going to get ready for race number 6 now, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-olds.
The lone entry in the 200 open class is going to be the 398 of Big Lake, Minnesota's Isla Board Shots.
In the 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old class, Bentley Schultz on the 10, Ryland Betterly's on the 99, Brooks Podine is on the 105.
And on the 119 out of Lake City, Minnesota, Archer Ledford. Henry Rolfe also racing out of Lake City, Minnesota on the 168. And we also have the 202 of Henry Ford from Cambridge, Minnesota.
Claremont, Minnesota's Owen Lance is on the 410. Jameson Labs from St. Joseph's on the 623. Abram Schoen from Elk River on the 712. And Cooper Schoen from Elk River on the 823. And we're going to turn the first group loose. Here they come on the front straightaway like a snarling pack of deer working their way through the snow. They're headed towards turn number 1.
Now the front part of the field has separated slightly, but take a look at that battle in the second half of the field. We had 4 wide for quite a bit there. 6 racers all tight and ready together. These are some pretty competitive racers we have out there, but out front all alone, early race leader.
I think that might be Jameson Labs on the 623, I believe, or it might be Cooper Schoen. I'm literally just trying to read his jersey there to figure out which racer it is that's leading this one.
Can see the 23 for sure. And there, 823, I believe that is. Cooper Schoen, your early race leader, and he's already set quite a bit of distance between himself and that battle for second and third that's still raging on.
And Cooper flexed his 7-year-old muscles early because they took it 3 wide into that first turn, and Cooper did not lift, was able to set that sled up, take the lead from the competitors, and as the second place sled is all alone, we now have a 2-rider battle for third and fourth.
Looks like that's the 168 of Henry Rolfe, currently sitting in third, the 410 of Owen Lance in fourth, and now they're catching up to that second place racer yet again, so it's now back to a 3-sled battle for second, third, and fourth as the 823 of Cooper Schoen goes up and over that start-finish line jump.
Side by side for second and third now with the 4th place sled right behind them there. They get into that fall-away field first turn, and we've got a rider off the sled, but you can see that youngster jumps back up under their own power. Going to try and get back onto that sled before, if they can get it refired here quickly, and hopefully get back into the mix.
That battle still raging on there as we make our way through the Send It Squeeze. The 410 of Owen Lance has got company. It's the 99 of Ryland Betterly right behind him, but Betterly now goes up to the inside trying to make a move there as another lap in the books for the 823 of Schoen. Schoen, now that the second place competitor went down, caused a little bit of a bunch up there through the Send It Squeeze. Schoen has a clear track ahead of him and a lot of space behind him.
So there is another sled that you just saw stalled between turns 1 and 2 there. The rider is back up under their own power, so a local caution there, which is just like road racing or other forms of maybe 2-wheeled racing, where the entire track does not go caution, just the point of the incident, and then once they clear that incident, back to green flag conditions.
Looks like it was the 105 of Brooks Podine stuck down there in the Send It Squeeze, but right now checkered flag is going to fly. Cooper Schoen is going to be your heat race winner.
Unofficially, Owen Lance, I believe, going to hold on for second on the 410. And the 99 of Ryland Betterly, I believe, was in the mix there, as well as the rest of the racers worked their way across the line to complete that final lap in the 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old classes. That's race number 6 of 16.
Well, we have a second here. I want to take another moment to call a few racers up to the staging area. Once again, that was race 6 that just finished now. Race 7 up next, transition 8 to 12 combined. Race 8, plus 30 snowcross, 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus. Race 9, Ditchbanger 90 to 09 heat 1. And race 10, Ditchbanger 90 to 09 heat 2 should all be in the staging area. Race 11, 600 open 18 plus modern. Junior 14 to 17 and race 12, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 should all be making your way up to the staging area.
Race number 7 is in the start gate. Transition 8 to 12 combined, including Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota on the 25K, Addison Schmideker from Prior Lake, Minnesota on the 75, and Easton Norman from Elk River, Minnesota on the 707. 3 racers in the start gate, ready to rip and roar for heat race number 7.
Just like that, we are almost at the halfway point for our first section of races here for the evening.
Well, we've got a quick break in the action before we turn these 3 competitors loose. Want to let you know that MBTV Sports has got a full 2026 schedule, but you know what we're doing already? Planning for 2027. So, if you need to get in touch with the representatives at MBTV Sports about 2027, now is the time to do it, and that schedule will start to take shape. Taking shape right now is the action on the track as the top 2 go nose to tail into turn number 1.
25K of Cashton Nelson in second, but out front and alone, the 707 of Easton Norman leading the charge early on. He got the whole shot, and he is already doing all he can to put a little bit of space between him and Nelson. Schmeideker rounding out your top 3 as we make our way through the West End high banks and up the climb back to the start-finish line.
Now, we've talked a lot about the racing surface. We've talked a lot about the obstacles that these racers are facing at all points of the racetrack. And we have briefly mentioned the elevation changes. We talked about the big wall jump that these racers are coming to right now. But let's talk about the Black Diamond drop. This is about a 50-foot drop. Not quite vertical, but you can see even these transition 8 to 12-year-olds are catching some air when they make that transition from the flats of the back straightaway, dropping down about 40 to 50 feet before they get to a couple of more rollers. Right there you can see one of our competitors working through the rollers en route towards the West End high banks.
Yes, one thing I will say, the video feed does not give it justice.
We love MBTV Sports and we love you watching it, but it's amazing how the track seems different watching it on the live stream versus out there competing or walking the track.
Yes, exactly. That Black Diamond drop, you know, as we said, it's got to be at the very, very minimum, 30-foot drop, more so probably a 40, 50-foot drop. And so seeing these racers just fully send it off of that little end cap right there as they make their way down the Black Diamond drop right here. You know, it doesn't look too much on the screen, but it is quite a distance that they are jumping down there.
And remember, this racetrack, this temporary racetrack, is built on the permanent ski facility here, Steeplechase Ski Resort. So you're at a ski slope, you're obviously going to see a large drop from the top of the ski slope until they get down to the bottom where they would be climbing onto their chairlifts. So we're using some of that elevation change for the design of the X-Racing Sunday Fun Day track. And the racers so far, I've heard nothing but positive reports from the racers. They love the facility, they love Steeplechase, and they love the track. Gives them a little bit of everything to work with.
Yeah, it's our first year racing here with the Sunday Fun Day race crew. So excited to see them out there. There's the checkered flag.
Nope, it was getting ready.
Getting ready, my bad. Saw it momentarily there. White flag is still flying though.
There we've got our checkered flag out. Speed cam gets a little roost there as one of our competitors sneaks by. So that speed cam right there is actually looking to the west, down towards the start gate or the West End High Banks turn. You know, I have been calling it turns 3 and 4. Technically, it's turns 4 and 5. But let's get ready for race number 8, plus 30 snowcross and 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus.
In the plus 30 snowcross class, 2 competitors coming at you. Out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota, it's the 5 of Dylan Dorn. He's had a pretty solid season in this class. And alongside him, the 393 of Mitchell Fruth racing out of St. Stephen, Minnesota.
In the 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus class, Farmington, Minnesota's Nick Marsh is on the 72. Logan Splitzer from Henderson is on the 916, and Jason Splitzer from Henderson is on the 921. There you can see him letting them dig. Let these sleds fly as the 800 plus cc racers head down into the first turn.
Looks like 4 of our scheduled 5 racers making the call, but out front early, the 5 of Dylan Dorn is setting the pace. 393 of Mitchell Fruth following behind in second. So we've got our 2 plus 30 snowcross competitors out front in the lead right now. A little bit of space before we get back to our 2 800 to 850 cc open competitors.
And there's another change we mentioned earlier, finish line jump. The finish line for the first 4 rounds was just part of the flat straightaway before they got down into the rhythm rollers at the end of the front straightaway. They gave us a nice little launch pad for the finish line for round number 5, and we can see these bigger sleds really starting to catch some air as they bring some speed up this climb to the finish line jump.
Yeah, so now just like we had with the Black Diamond drop there on the northwest end of the track, that climb there, you know, you can't really see it as well in the video feed, but they're climbing back up those 50 feet to get back up the elevation there. So that's quite a high climb leading up to that, you know, nice jump on the start-finish line moving into the roller section. So they'll have some nice speed going in there. Going to be seeing a little bit more air tonight than we have these past few weeks.
Especially right there at the finish line as Dylan Dorn continues to lead this one in the plus 30 snowcross class. Green flag conditions continue. Race number 8, green flag conditions. As they make their way to the line to complete another lap, continues to be Dylan Dorn on the number 5, followed by Mitchell Fruth on the 393 machine. Those are your top 2 in the plus 30 snowcross class. Getting ready to come to the line for the white flag. White flag is in the air this time across the line. One more lap to go for a plus 30 snowcross and 800, 850 cc open 18 plus. Top 2 still relatively tight. Not sure if we're going to see a change in position. That separation has grown just a little bit. They're on the back straightaway now as 3rd and 4th in the overall running order make their way to the line to take the white flag. There you can see our race leader on the NDTV Sports Live feed coming out of the final turn, headed towards the waving checkered flag, and it will be the 5 of Dylan Dorn getting the heat race W. Mitchell Fruth on the 393 across the line in second. 800, 850 cc competitors will be next to the line. Checkered flag remains out. Let's see if we can catch the number as this sled zips across the line. Could not quite make it out. I apologize there. But 2 of the 3 make it across the line in the 850, or the 800 to 850 cc open 18 plus class. Race number 9 in the start gate. This will be Ditchbanger 90 to 09, heat number 1.
Starting lineup's going to look a little like this. The 4Z of Alex Forsland racing out of Cambridge, Minnesota, alongside Zimmerman, Minnesota's Jory Cordes on the 7, and the 24 of Scott Kempe out of Bloomer, Wisconsin.
Tony Burskin from Otsego, Minnesota's on the 77, Joshua Berg from Mondovi, Wisconsin on the 84, and Red Wing, Minnesota's Zach Lawrence on the 226X.
Piloting the 439 out of Mazeppa, Minnesota, it's Mike Pappenfuss. Kyle Lodermeyer out of Zumbrota, Minnesota on the 725, and New Prague, Minnesota's 726 of Lucas Holloway Holicky going to round out your field as we get the green flag. And out front early, the 726 of Lucas Holicky. He's had a pretty solid season so far, and he's looking to do the same this weekend as well with the early race lead.
I would say it's an easy statement. The Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class has been the largest class this season, as we've, I believe, every round had at least 2 heats, and I believe one of the rounds we even had 3 heats. But right now, Lucas Holicky, who has had some ups and downs this season, currently at the front of the field of this 2-rider battle as they complete lap number 1.
I believe in second right now, it looks like that might be the 24 of Scott Kempe as he goes up and over the side there. He has to make his way back onto the track there. Lost a little bit of ground.
But luckily did not give up a position. He was able to battle back from blowing the berm on the outside of turn number 1, was able to get it back onto the racing surface, and holds on to the number 2 spot. As a matter of fact, really didn't even lose very much ground on the race leader, considering that he was off track for a moment.
Yeah, he's already gained quite a bit of that ground back. So he's making his way back up. See if we might have time to put a battle for position on there with your leader, the 726 of Lucas Holicky.
Speaking of battles, a 3-rider shootout for 3rd, 4th, and 5th in this first heat race for the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class, but it's all Lucas Holicky out front. Lucas has got to keep it on the straight and narrow. It's fun to watch him clear the distance from the finish line jump all the way to the first roller.
Another lap in the books, as now he's got a clear track ahead of him. He is in the flow, and he is putting a nice gap there on his competitor in second, as now we've got a 3, possibly even 4-rider battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
We've stretched it out a little bit from 3rd back to 6th, but still anything could change here in the last couple of laps. This time at the line, our racers remain under green flag conditions. At least 2 more laps to go for Lucas Holicky on that North Central International sled. Is your race leader.
Back through the west end high banks, another time around. Holicky, still your race leader.
White flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go for Lucas.
And his company behind him hasn't gained any ground, but at the same time, hasn't lost any ground. We've got, what is that, maybe 4 sled lengths in between our top 2 competitors. Still haven't been able to quite get a number on that second place rider. I still believe it's the 24 of Scott Kempe. However, keep that with a grain of salt out front, though. We know it's still the 726 of Holicky leading the charge.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Holicky has had some ups and downs. It's going to be ups this time as he makes it to the checkered flag to pick up the heat race win. I think the good news for Lucas is that all of the minor bad luck that he's had has been during the heat races, hasn't impacted any of his main event runs. Here comes the rest of the field across the line. You see 3rd place taking the checkered flag, and then a multi-sled battle to the checkered flag just outside the top 3. That is heat race number 1. We get ready for heat race number 2 in the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class.
Heat race number 2, your starting lineup's going to look like this out of Buffalo, Minnesota. It's the 63 of Tim Burskin alongside Michael Rude racing the 101 out of Zumbrota, Minnesota.
Plymouth, Minnesota's Nathan Crawford's on the 104. Joshua Podine from Stewartville is on the 151.
On the 282 out of Milford, Iowa, it's Ryan Brown alongside Brian Witham racing the 580 out of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Daniel Weiland from Hortonville, Wisconsin is on the 621, and Jaeger Cordes from Duluth, Minnesota is on the 731. Of the expected 8 racers in the starting lineup, 6 of them in the start gate.
This is race number 10. As a quick reminder, race 11, 600 open, 18 plus modern, junior 14 to 17. Race 12, 13, and 14 should all be in the staging area as well as we go green flag racing. And it's the 580 of Brian Witham out front early. The 282 of Ryan Brown hot on his tail. And second is our 3rd place competitor. Barely is able to keep it on the track.
I could swear he lost grip there with his right hand. I thought I saw his arm way up in the air. He's able to stay on that sled, stay up to speed, and at least remains in the top 3 for now.
Wow, I swear I saw that right ski even off the berm, most of that left-hand corner there through the fall-away field. But out front, it's still the 580 of Brian Witham, holding on strong to the lead. Ryan Brown sitting in second. And this just in, looks like we have had a slight change to our program this evening.
As two racers get together there in the left-hand turn.
We're just doing the finals this evening as opposed to the heat races as well. I believe it's due to some of the cold and weather that we have out there. So we are doing a slightly contracted program this evening. So right now we are actually in our first round of feature races.
Main event number 1 for these competitors in heat race number 2, or group 2 of the Ditchbanger 90-09 class. But it continues to be the 580 of Brian Witham, your race leader, with the 282 of Ryan Brown. In that spirited battle for second, and it's actually turning into a 3-rider battle for second, third, and fourth, as we did see those two racers get together in the West End High Banks turn in the battle for second and third.
That battle for third and fourth is raging as well. I believe I saw only about a half a sled length gap between those racers. Out front, Witham holding on to the lead with a good amount of distance between him and Ryan Brown on the 282. That's about a half straightaway advantage from first to second. And then we got about a 10 sled length gap back to that side-by-side battle for third and fourth. Up and over the start-finish line jump. Slight advantage to our red racer on the outside, but a deep drag to the inside by the 104 of Nathan Crawford. Crawford is now up to third.
That was a great move by Nathan. Saw that inside lane open up way down on the west end as the third place sled drifted to the outside. Then he was just able to lay into it all the way down the Hail Mary Highway, cleared the finish line jump as the white flag is out for our race leader. One final trip around the X Racing Sunday Funday Oval here at Steeplechase Ski Resort.
Brian Witham. Now this is another racer out here who has had a heck of a season here for the Sunday Funday series, consistently out front or in one of the top 2 positions. And as he makes his way up the climb, he is going to take another checkered flag here. Brian Witham taking the feature race win in the Ditchbanger 90-09 heat number 2 race. Race number 11 is about to go out next. Race 12, Junior Ditchbanger 10-13. Race 13, Ditchbanger Twins and the Thomas Snow Sport 440-600 Invitational. And race 14, Junior Open 18 and under, should all be in the staging area. Our final 2 races of the first round of features, race 15 and 16, should be making your way up to staging now.
So in race number 11, again, we will have 2 classes in the start gate, 600 Open 18 plus modern, and junior racers, 14 to 17-year-olds. In that 14 to 17 junior class, Jackson Hadrava from Walker, Minnesota on the 116, and Julia Olson from Montevideo on the 521.
In the 600 Open 18 plus modern class, 5 competitors coming at you. We already saw a feature race win from one of them earlier today, the 5 of Dylan Dorn out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota, alongside the 38 of DJ Marsh from Farmington, Minnesota.
Peyton Smith's on the 068, Aiden Leonard's on the 109, and Garrett Keel on the 248. Our 600 Open and junior 14 to 17-year-olds are away. Battle for the lead is decided at the east end. Now it's a 2-rider shootout for second and third.
Looks like that may have been the 109 of Aiden Leonard out front early. The 5 of Dylan Dorn sitting in second. We've got our third place competitor hot in tow right behind, along with our 4th and 5th place riders. All of our top racers, all single file, though keeping close quarters with each other. But out front, it is still Leonard and Dorn, 1 and 2.
Nice 3-racer freight train for second, third, and fourth, and a 2-rider battle for the final spot in the top 5 in this 600 Open and junior 14 to 17-year-old first main event. This camera spotlight on the rider coming out of the West End High Banks, the 109 of Aiden Leonard.
Another lap in the books for Leonard. So he's starting to build a little bit of a gap there between him and the 5 of Dorn. Dorn also having a nice gap behind him, between him and that 3rd place racer. But we've got a tight battle going on for 3rd and 4th. Right now, I believe that is the 248 of Garrett Keel sitting in 3rd. Yep, 248 of Keel sitting in 3rd, but he's got company hot on his tail as our 4th place rider trying to get in the mix, see if he might be able to make it up to the podium. We've even got a side-by-side battle for 5th and 6th raging on at the rear end of the field.
Yeah, you can see that the intensity level has been turned up a bit as we get a little deeper into the schedule here on our first main event. There you go, taking flight on the Black Diamond Drop is your race leader, the 109 of Aiden Leonard. You know, that second place sled, the number 5 of Dorn, not too far behind Leonard as they're still under green flag conditions. Couple more laps to go in the 600 Open 18 Plus Modern class, first main.
Leonard and Dorn in the same section of the track. It looks like Dorn is slowly but surely trying to reel in Leonard. I don't think we have enough race left to make a pass for the lead, but it is commendable that he's been able to grow this distance in between them. Out front, though, another lap in the books. White flag is flying for the 109 of Aiden Leonard.
Yeah, Aiden had a perfect lap that time. We were talking about how Dylan was able to stay with him, but Aiden just turned it on that lap and was really able to stretch that separation from first to second. There you see Aiden taking flight as he heads towards the High Bank west end of this oval. Final time to make the climb onto the Hail Mary Highway and headed towards the finish line jump. Checkered flag is out. Aiden Leonard's going to win main event number 1. Dylan Dorn across the line in second. And unofficially, Garrett Keel, I believe, on the 248 is going to hold on for that third place position with the checkered flag flying at the end of the 600 Open 18 Plus Junior 14 to 17-year-old first main.
Race number 12 up next, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13. Your starting lineup will go as follows. The 00 of Charles Nagus out of Elk River, Minnesota, alongside Wesley Sweeney racing from Spring Valley, Minnesota on the 5, and Spring Valley, Minnesota's 11 of Jude Slivka.
Brentley Kruzmark out of Mazeppa is on the 72. Harrison Resnicek from Elk Rivers on the 99. Harrison Hurst from Spring Valley on the 499. And Landon Podine out of Stewartville riding the triple nickel 555. All 7 racers in the lineup in the start gate and ready for main event number 12 for Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-olds.
Flagger is checking out the racers as he flies it. Green flag is out, and away we go with one of our racers pulling away. Had a great start there.
You know, if you think about it, those of you who might be watching who are, it doesn't matter what sort of motorsport you like, whether it's stock car racing or motorcycle racing, same scenario here. A lot of the success, not all of it, but a lot of the success for a racer can come down to the start. Getting out of that gate first, as did Brentley Kruzmark on the, Harrison Resnicek on the 99 machine. Not only are your competitors behind you, you don't have to worry about that ice-cold roost that's being blown into your face from the racers ahead of you. Oh, our race leader's off track at the end of the front straightaway. That sled has stalled. Racers taking a look at it, trying to figure out what happened.
Resnicek with a great start and great first lap.
Now he's got it refired.
Has it refired, but at the near rear of the field, which leaves the 499 of Harrison Hurst as your current race leader. Hurst had been defending a battle for second and third. Now is holding on to that lead early on, and it looks like he's grown a little bit of distance as our second place racer almost goes up and over the bars. Now another thing, we've been saying it a lot about the elevation on this track, but those rhythm section jumps there as well, they're not as small as they look. There's, I'd say each one's probably about 4 feet tall and goes into about a 10-foot deep gap there. So, you can really see those racers bucking around on that.
And of course, if you hit those rollers in just the wrong sequence, we've seen it a lot already this year. A seat bump that can put a rider up and over the handlebars. As we see, we do have one rider off the sled at the end of the front straightaway. He's back on the sled, but took a wild ride there at the end of the front stretch.
And it looks like that was the 99 of Harrison Resnicek. Has been having a rough night. Started off so strong and has now gone off the track, stalled, had issues in the rhythm section as well, but happy to see him back fired up and ready to go as through the West End High Banks, another lap is about to go in the books for the 499 of Harrison Hurst.
Harrison Hurst is going to get the waving green flag. I believe there will be 2 laps to go this time across the line, but that battle for position as he's closing in on the 555 of Landon Podine might tighten up here because Harrison's got to figure out a way to get past Landon, and that allows second and third to gain some ground on him. There you can see second and third place sleds just coming into the picture.
Tight battle for second and third, right behind the 555 of Landon Podine, going a lap down. But out front, this worked for Hurst's position as we've got the white flag out. One more lap to go for the 499 of Spring Valley, Minnesota's Harrison Hurst.
And that battle for second and third is not decided. Still elbow to elbow, knee to knee as they head into turn number one. A little crossover maneuver there as they get down into the send-it squeeze. Let's see who's going to hold on for second and third as the 499 of Harrison Hurst continues to lead this one.
And as I got a closer look, looks like that racer we thought was in third is actually the 99 of Harrison Resnick, who's a lap down right now.
Right.
But
yep, there's a check.
even though he's a lap down, it's not going to stop our racers from putting up a nice battle there. So Resnick going across the line a lap down. But out front, though, the 499 of Harrison Hurst going to be your feature race winner.
Some hair-raising moments there in that junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13 class, but thankfully all racers able to get back onto their sleds as we prepare for race number 13 of 16. So just 4 races remaining in this first run through of mains. Ditchbanger Twins and TSS 440 to 600 Invitational is next.
And final call to staging for all of our racers in this first half. Race 13 about to hit the track. Race 14, Junior Open 18 and under. Race 15, Ditchbanger Triples and Ditchbanger 03 to 16. And race 16, WSA X 440 and WSA X Open should all be in the staging area. But your lineup for race 13 in the Thomas Snow Sport 440 to 600 Invitational class, the lone entry, the 7 of Brian Schultz out of Zimmerman, Minnesota.
6 racers in the Ditchbanger Twins class. Jory Cordes from Zimmerman's on the 7. Peyton Smith from Montevideo is on the 068. Ryan Brown from Milford, Iowa on the 282.
On the 612 out of Hortonville, Wisconsin, it's Daniel Weiland. Kyle Lordermeyer from Zumbrota, Minnesota on the 725. And rounding out your field, the 810 of Duluth, Minnesota's Nathan Ramshack.
7 racers in main event 1, race number 13, Ditchbanger Twins and TSS 440 to 600 Invitational class. They are down in the start gate area as we prepare for the start of race number 13. Remember, after we run through all 16 classes for their first main event, there will be a brief intermission. Give those of you here at Steeplechase Ski Resort an opportunity to sneak over to the clubhouse, get yourself a sweet treat from the concessions. Those of you at home can head to the kitchen, grab yourself some munchies, and then rejoin us for the second main events for all 16 classes.
Looks like we're going to take just a moment here to make sure our racers are all set and ready to go. And in the meantime, just want to give a quick reminder. So tonight is round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday racing season.
And it is a chilly round number 5.
Yes, you can say that again. Tomorrow we'll be back for round 6, our halfway point of the season, round 6 of 12 races. After tomorrow, we're going to be changing things up a little bit, though. Our next race will be Friday, February 6th, but not at Steeplechase Ski Resort like we've seen so far. Exactly. We're going to be changing it up. We're going a little more north as we'll be racing for the first time, not only this year, but the first time ever for Sunday Funday at Brainerd International Raceway in Brainerd, Minnesota. So we'll be double changing it up. Not only is it going to be a new track for us, but it's also going to be a new day. So I believe what I've been hearing, the rumblings are that Friday race will follow the same schedule as a typical Saturday race here, but an hour forward. So whereas today we started our riders meeting at 4:15, practice at 5, and first round of races at 5:45, sounds like that Friday race will start with the riders meeting at 5:15, practice at 6, and races to follow. That'll be race number 7 of the year. The following day, Saturday, February 7th, we will also be at Brainerd International Raceway before we come back here for our final 2 races of the season at Steeplechase Ski Resort. Round number 9 will be Saturday, February 21st. Round number 10 will be Sunday, February 22nd, and then we will round off the season with rounds 11 and 12 back at Brainerd International Raceway on Saturday, February 28th, and Sunday, March 1st.
So Joe Duncan and the X-Racing crew really playing with the title of this series, Sunday Funday, letting all of you realize and understand that it's not only Sunday when we can have fun, but also Saturdays and Fridays through the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday series. But we're having a great time. As we do a little track maintenance, we'll step away. For those of you who are watching the live streaming coverage on NBTV Sports, we'll be right back with more green flag action from Steeplechase Ski Resort.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere.
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
Welcome back to Steeplechase Ski Resort as we are preparing for main event 1, race number 13, Ditchbanger Twins and TSS 440-600 Invitational. Been a lot of excitement already, Zach, as we're enjoying round number 5.
Yes, it's been a great round, a chilly round. You know, as you may have heard earlier, we're actually skipping the heats tonight for 2 rounds of features, just to make sure our racers are all set and ready. We always put safety first, and sometimes that has to do with the cold, but the green flag is going to fly nonetheless. And out front, early race leader going to be the 068 of Peyton Smith with the early race charge, taking that whole shot on the northeast side of the track with a solid 3 sled gap between him and a 3-rider battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Ooh, almost lost a rider off the right side berm there of the send it squeeze left-hand turn. He's able to wrestle it back under control, and they're going to take him 3 wide into the west end high banks there, or at least as near to it as you could get. 3-rider battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th giving chase.
Nearly side by side up and over the start finish line jump. I believe that racer that's now in 3rd looks like it might be a 7 on there, so I don't know if that's the 7 of Jory Cordes in the Ditchbanger Twins class or the 7 of Brian Schultz in the Thomas Snow Sport class.
Yeah, I did notice that one sled at the tail end of the field exited the track at the west end high banks there at the completion of lap number 1. So we are 1 sled down in this race number 13 green flag scenario.
Out front though, Peyton Smith putting on a heck of a show with 2 laps down and already a full straightaway gap between him and 2nd place. Little gap between 2nd and 3rd, but we've still got a tight little battle there going on for 3rd and 4th as well.
Now, we might have 3rd, 4th, and 5th in play yet before we get to any checkered flag scenario, as here comes our race leader to the line to complete another lap. It is the 068 of Peyton Smith from Montevideo, Minnesota, riding the Olson Plumbing, Burmeister Auto Body, Edward Jones, Grandma Hobbs sled on Saturday evening here at Steeplechase Ski Resort.
Making his way through the send it squeeze. A racer currently in 2nd, holding on strong to that position. A little bit of gap before we get back to our 7. Like I said, not sure if that's the 7 of Schultz or the 7 of Cordes, one of the 7 machines currently sitting in 3rd. Now about 3-4 sled lengths ahead of 2nd place.
So this field has stretched out. At the very least, the top 3 have stretched out. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th could change, but we are running out of laps for race number 13, main number 1. Still green flag conditions as the 068 of Smith comes to the line. 2 to go. Smith's got that rhythm section figured out right after the finish line launch there. He's able to carry a lot of speed down into turns 1 and 2. As here comes 3rd and 4th to the line.
Another lap in the books for our racers. Now it's that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th that's definitely the tightest on the track right now. Smith has all but secured this top spot as long as he's able to stay on 2 skis. Keep going. Should be taking the heat or the feature race win as we've got the white flag out. 1 more lap to go for the 068 of Montevideo, Minnesota's Peyton Smith.
Matt giving us some great filming coverage here as Peyton continues to set a blistering pace. Has really opened up almost the entire length of a straightaway from the west end to the east end, even though he's on the back straightaway. It's about the same distance here. Final trip around the west end high banks and a drag up to the waving checkered flag will give the W to Peyton Smith from Montevideo, Minnesota.
That was race number 13. Race number 14 going to be up next. That is your Junior Open 18 and under class, where we've got a 3-rider battle. In that, it'll be the 116 of Jackson Hadrava out of Walker, Minnesota, along with Carter Bastier from New Prague, Minnesota on the 252.
Zumbrota, Minnesota's Briggs Grove on the 310 machine will round out the three-rider field. As Junior Open 18 and under class, you can see on screen, those of you watching from home, the three racers down there in the start gate getting ready for main event number 1, race number 14.
Getting a shout out on our Facebook page from Terry Burnham saying thank you for the broadcast.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you for joining us, but also we're happy to bring some live racing coverage to all of the 2025-2026 Sunday Fun Day races. So for those of you in the grandstands right now, as a quick reminder, we are live streaming today's events for free on mbtvsports.com.
How much does it cost? Did you say for free?
For free. So free coverage of some beautiful racing. At Rooster Racing 2 saying, think we're only doing 2 rounds, 6 laps each for those. You are correct, Rooster Racing. We are doing 2 rounds of racing tonight.
No heat race, so these are main events. 2 main events for each racer. Top 2 side by side on the send it squeeze. One on the outside, one right down the middle. And we have got a single leader coming out of the right-hand turn onto the back straightaway. Top 2 nose to tail.
Tight battle up front. Our third place racers still trying to hold on strong, not quite reeling them in, but not leaving this battle undone. Out front, first official lap going to go into the books for our current race leader. Sitting behind in second, it's the 252 of Carter Bastier. Bastier in the middle of a 2-rider sandwich.
Yeah, your race leader was able to clear that gap from the finish line jump to that first roller. Gives him a smooth entry into the rest of the rhythm rollers at the end of the Hail Mary Highway, the front straightaway, whereas Carter, running second, wasn't quite able to stick the landing after the finish line jump. We will see if Carter can push it a little further this time, maybe get to that roller, comes up just a hair short, and what that does is that transitions into a seat bounce and throws him out of sync for the remainder of the rhythms there at the end of the straightaway.
Through the send it squeeze. Bastier holding on strong to that second place spot, only about 5 sled lengths separating our top 2 competitors. We make our way through the west end high banks once more. Bastier able to catch a little bit of ground there through that west end. Another lap officially in the books for our racers in the Junior Open 18 and under class.
Well, it looks like Carter closes the gap a little bit until they get to that finish line. And that is where our race leader is able to pull away at the end of the front straightaway, reestablishes that separation back to the 252 of New Prague's Carter Bastier. This time at the line, going to be the white flag for your race leader. The race leader takes the white flag. 1 more lap to go as he heads down into turn number 1.
Current race leader is the 310 of Briggs Grove. Briggs has been putting on a heck of a night here in the Junior Open 18 and under class. Bastier trying to do all he can to reel in Grove, but it doesn't look like we're going to have enough time as 1 corner separates Briggs Grove from a feature race win.
We will climb the hill to the front straightaway for the last time. Checkered flag is in the air. Briggs Grove's got himself a main event win. Carter Bastier across the line in second. And Jackson Hadrava on the 116 will round out the top 3. Hey, quick note. Those of you watching at home or those of you listening here at Steeplechase Ski Resort, if you are a representative of a business that'd like to get involved with NBTV Sports live streaming, always looking for additional supporters, sponsors, business associates. So make sure you get in touch with the folks at NBTV Sports to find out how you can become involved with live streaming coverage of some of these local and area motorsports events.
And speaking of, this is a great time to give a huge thanks to a few of our sponsors: Hunter Hool Memorial Foundation, DLO Excavating LLC, CNA Pro Skis, and CF Moto. As we have our next race hitting the track, Ditchbanger 2003-16. We have the 101 of Michael Rude, 226 of Tucker Lawrence, and your early race leader, the 393 of Mitchell Fruth.
Only 2 of the expected 5 racers in the lineup on the track right now in the Ditchbanger triples class. Morgan Call on the 48 and Darren Borgshots from Big Lake riding the 398. Top 2 running 1 and 2 as they complete lap number 1.
Ruth putting another lap in the books there. doubling up and over that start-finish line jump there. You know, we're able to get some nice speed going through the climb. So we have that nice new start-finish line jump going on. Love to get to see some air there as Fruth puts on a pretty solid lap. Our competitor currently in second place, holding on right behind. I believe that's the 226 of Tucker Lorentz, holding on to second, if I'm seeing things correctly.
Separation growing between the top two racers in this 15th main event of the first round of mains, as our racer exits the east and begins the trek back to the west end. The west end high banks awaits as he completes the back straightaway and drops down the back diamond drop.
Fruth also been having a pretty solid season here so far. Finishing a few races up in the top spot like we're seeing tonight, but a whole lot of second and third place finishes as well. As another lap goes into the books for the 393 of Mitchell Fruth.
Still under green flag conditions, our next main event will be the WSA 440 Improved and WSA X Open class. These are 90 to 03 sleds that we will see on the track next, and that will be our final first main event. Then we will have a short intermission before we get into our second main events. This time at the line, race leader begins the process of starting another lap in race number 15's first main. Split screen, and there you see the speed shot on the right as the 226 of Tucker Lorentz clears the finish line jump and heads back into turn number one.
Fruth with a solid showing here in the Ditchbanger 03 to 16 class. Gonna one final time make his way through the west end high banks as he's coming up to the white flag. One more lap to go for the 393 of Mitchell Fruth.
Almost a half a lap separation from first to second, and Mitch takes the opportunity to peek over his left shoulder there, find out where the competition is. Not quite a half a lap there, maybe a quarter of a lap, as I think Mitch has turned it down a little bit. He's in relax and conserve mode right now on this final trip, almost a victory lap for him here as he makes his way out of the west end, heads towards the finish line to take the checkered flag, and he'll pick up the W in the Ditchbanger 03 to 16 first main event. Tucker Lorentz across the line second.
And just like that, hard to believe it, but we are down to our final race of this first round of features. Race number 16, WSA X 440 Improved and WSA X Open. Your starting lineup is going to look a little something like this. All alone in the WSA X 440 Improved class. We've already seen him take one feature race win today, and I guess we'll be seeing another here momentarily, the 726 of Lucas Holicky out of New Prague, Minnesota.
In the open class, 4 racers, including Scott Kempe from Bloomer, Wisconsin on the 1, Garrett Peel from Olwine, Iowa on the 248.
Rounding out the field, it's the 282 of Ryan Brown from Milford, Iowa, and the 580 of Jagger Cordes from Duluth, Minnesota. 5 racers, 2 classes, 1 final race for this first round of mains.
They are waiting for our starter, who is camera left, just to the right of the racers, kind of hiding behind the trees there from our cameraman, but that starter has a green flag in his hands, and once that green flag goes skyward, that's when the racers can rocket out of the start gate area and head towards the front straightaway. The first thing they have to do is make that climb up the climb. That's what we call it, the razor that comes from the lowlands, the exit of the West End High Banks, up to the height of the Hail Mary Highway and the finish line jump. So there is a bit of a climb before they can even get to the quote-unquote front straightaway.
Flagger looks them down. Green flag is up.
One of them stalled. One sled stalled in the start gate, but we do have a side-by-side battle for the lead as they get into turn number 1.
On the right side, it's Lucas Holicky. On the inside, the 580 of Jagger Cordes. Cordes sitting in second, but he's got company to the inside now.
Caught me off guard there. I thought they were going to get together. I don't think they actually touched, but the third place sled came into that, sent it squeezed with such a head of steam. I was quite surprised he was able to keep it off the competitor there.
He's able to duck it down low, move up to second place as Jagger Cordes moves back to third overall. Out front, though, all alone, the 726 of Holicky. As I said, he's got company on his right. The same switchback maneuver we saw on the west end tries to do it here on the east end. Hollicky able to hold on to the lead ever so slightly, though, as his competition hot on his tails.
Hollicky racing in the 440 improved class. The other 4 racers in the starting lineup in the open trail class. Boy, they were tight there for a moment, but Hollicky was able to flex his muscles on the back straightaway and reestablish the lead that he had earlier. Turn number 1, downward portion. The fall away field that gets him into the send it squeeze left-hander before they have to climb back up that 40-foot riser, maybe 30-foot riser. A bit of a wall jump there to the right-hand turn and down the back straightaway into the high banks of the west end. Again, they will cross the line this time to complete another lap. Still green flag conditions for this 2-racer battle at the front of the pack.
Now, another thing that's impressive and to keep in mind here is that the 726 of Lucas Hollicky, he is racing that WSA-X 440 improved class, which engines must be stock displacement, no engine mods allowed except for HC domes. All shocks are allowed and aftermarket exhausts allowed, but our other competitors racing in that WSA-X open class, let's hear those mods. All shock packages are allowed. So Hollicky holding on to the lead early on with the underpowered sled in this race.
So there was yellow flag conditions there, and the rule is that under yellow flag conditions at that area of the track, it's skis and tread on the ground, no jumping under yellow flag conditions, and of course no changing of position, and that's for safety of whatever rider might be the cause of that local caution.
Tight battle still raging on. As a look to the outside with the white flag flying, 1 more lap to go.
Boy, this one's about ready to bubble over. I believe we do have another yellow flag condition on the track. We have one sled just coming to a stop there as he tried to get up the wall jump. The top 2 able to sneak past. Now they're on the back straightaway headed into the final turn for our final first main.
One last time up the climb. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Checkered flag is in their sights, and Lucas Hollicky is a feature race winner, taking the W today, not only in the overall, but in the WSA-X 440 improved class. And just like that, we have officially come to a close on our first round of main events for round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday racing season here. We will be back. We're going to take about a 30-minute intermission here, let some of our racers warm up, do a little bit of track prep, and we will be back in about half an hour as we come back for round number 2, our second set of finals for the races tonight. In the meantime, let's go back and hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years. Freight is the backbone of the country. And as long as
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out.
Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
In the early 2000s, a monster was created known today as the Outlaw Mini Mod Series. The chassis was dubbed as the Batwing chassis, and the rest is history. Today, the Outlaw Mini Mod Series travels across the Midwest in a plethora of tracks, showcasing the incredible raw speed and talent these cars possess. With the spec jig-built chassis and all the parts same from car to car, it puts racing back into the driver's hands. Finishing first or fifth comes down to setup and driver skill, not just their pocketbook. These spec race cars turn faster laps than most big cars they share the track with most nights. Visit Batwing Chassis on Facebook or batwingchassis.com to learn more about these bad, fast race cars. Batwing Chassis, where fast, affordable fun is the driving force behind one of the fastest growing classes in the Midwest. Join the fun today.
When you push your engine to the limit, on the track, the farm, or the highway, only one name delivers unmatched protection. Schaefer's specialized lubricants. With over 180 years of proven performance, professionals don't guess. They trust Schaefer's. And in our region, there's one guy who makes it happen. William Denzer. Racers, farmers, fleets. They all call William because he's reliable, knowledgeable, and gets results. So support the brands and people who support racing. Call William today, 651-253-0999, or email denzer.schaefer.sales@gmail.com. Schaefer's, trusted since 1839. Power in every drop.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellersells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood, every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
My two passions in life is racing and selling good high-end meat. So my grandfather came here from Germany back in the late 20s. He decided to open his own shop in 1951. He had all the recipes, he had all the talent. His father was a meat guy. His father's father was a butcher. They weren't football players, basketball players. They were in the meat business. And that's our family. That's what we're good at. Old World Meats was derived from Frank's Meats. That was my grandfather's name. I know the quality of my beef is the best because I've purchased it directly from the ranchers at Certified Angus Beef. We know what our beef is continuously, and it's very consistent. So we're located up here in Duluth on beautiful Lake Superior, just a stone throw off of Highway 61. I've lived here my whole life, and it's where I wanted to raise my family. To be successful, you need to have a talent. And I knew I was going to be in the meat business. I can taste spices, I can pick out flavors, where they need to come in, where they need to stop. So knowing your strengths are important and knowing where you came from. We have a hot snack stick that's got actually 8 different spices of heat in that, and it layers the flavors in the heat. That's what makes the difference with our product. The most exciting part was becoming coast to coast with the Old World Meats snack sticks. My neighbor stopped me on the street and said, "Paul, I was just down in Georgia and this gas station had your product." It was one of the highlights of the year. I don't know of a state at this point that we haven't had product in. Being in business in a small town really puts things into perspective. It's the little things for me to be appreciated and respected. So this whole operation here, it doesn't have to be the biggest, but it needs to have passion. And today, I'm changing lives of people that work with me. My guys are learning lifelong skills and values. That's the good stuff. Let's make the world a better place. Let's have a good time at it.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River. Whether you're looking to float the day away, camp under the stars, or catch live music and weekend events, River's Edge has everything you need for an unforgettable time. Book your tube, campsite, or party package now. River's Edge on the Apple River. Your summer starts here.
Attention X Racing Sunday Fun Day competitors. We are looking at a 7:30 start for our second mains. So at this point in time, we would like to begin calling competitors to the staging area for races 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that would be our 120 stock and 120 improved stock racers. Pro 206, Super 225 kids, 200 stock 9 to 12, Snow Scoot, Snow Sport, Junior girls, and Transition 8 to 10 and Junior 10 to 13. Those are all the classes in races 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we can begin the process of loading the staging area with you and your sleds. We, again, are looking at a 7:30 start. We would like to get started as close to 7:30 as possible with race number 1, main number 2. Thank you. Spread the word, spread the word. Again, attention in the pit area. Those of you racing X Racing Sunday Fun Day competition on your sleds. Let's begin loading the gate for races number 1, 2, 3, and 4, or at least loading the staging area, for races 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're looking for 120 stock, 120 improved stock, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, 200 stock, Snow Scoot, Snow Sport, Junior girls, Transition 8 to 10, and Junior 10 to 13-year-olds. If you have a friend or competitor who may not be listening to the FM feed or is out of earshot of the speakers, please do pass the word along. Again, let's get the staging area loaded with racers for race 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are hoping to fly the green flag for race number 1 at 7:30 or thereabouts as soon as possible.
Welcome back, racers and race fans, as we're coming to a close on our intermission here, about to start things off for our second round of feature races for the night. We went through it once earlier for our first rounds, and now we're about to do it all again here for feature race number 2 of the evening.
I tell you what, we had an exciting first set of main events for all of our classes, and we are looking forward to attempting to top that with main event number 2. That's right, each class, each competitor gets 2 main events. Normally they would also have a heat race, but due to the nature of weather conditions tonight, slightly abbreviated program as we dropped the heat races and we're just running 2 main events this evening. So the X-Racing Sunday Fun Day program will continue momentarily.
And before we get into green flag conditions here, we just got a birthday shout out that we wanted to send out to Jake Adams. A big old happy 21st birthday to our race director here at Sunday Fun Day. Want to give you a big happy birthday. Hope you're enjoying this nice and chilly day for round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Fun Day Racing Series here. So happy birthday to Jake Adams from all of the crew here. We have 16 races left to go tonight. We're just getting things started off with race number 1. They're about to be hitting the track. As a quick reminder for those of our racers in the grandstands here, race number 1, 120 stock. Race 2, 120 improved stock, should be in the staging area as we're about to go green flag racing in just a few seconds here on the mini track. Competitors in race number 3, Pro 206, Super 225 kids, 200 stock 9 to 12, Snow Scoot, Snow Sport, and Junior girls. Along with race number 4, Transition 8 to 10, and Junior 10 to 13 should all be in the staging area as well. So once again, racers in those first 4 races of the night should be in the staging area right now. Race 5, Kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12, and Junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17, and race 6, 200 open and 200 stock 4 to 8 should all be getting ready to make your way up to the staging area any moment here. Tonight is round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Fun Day Racing season here as a part of X Racing. We will be back again tomorrow, bright and early, for round number 6. Schedule is going to look like this. Gates and registration will be opening at 8 a.m., riders meeting at 9:15 a.m., practice at 10:15 a.m., and our heat races will begin at 11 a.m. sharp. So for those of you racing with us tomorrow, or for any of you hoping to watch the live stream tomorrow, we will be starting off at 11 a.m. sharp tomorrow morning. But we're slowly but surely pulling our racers out onto the track for race number 1 of the evening, our 120 stock improved class. And as we get our riders all lined up and ready to go, we'll start off with your starting lineup. It's going to look like this. The 7 of Peyton Schultz out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, alongside Nash Betterly, racing the Cook, Minnesota number 22. And your first feature race winner, the 25B of Foley, Minnesota's Bowden Nelson.
Lining up on the 29 will be Elgin, Minnesota's Leighton Dorn. Atop the 41 out of Zumbrota, Minnesota will be Gus Rude, with Felix Ryan from Millville on the 107.
On the 111 out of Malacca, Minnesota, it's Hollis Hoskins. And the 168 of Benton Rolfe from Lake City, Minnesota. Also from Lake City, Minnesota, Archer Ledford piloting the 351.
And rounding out this 11-rider lineup, Archer Ledford from Lake City on the 351, Jack Labs from St. Joseph, Minnesota on the 623, and Colton Lance from Claremont, Minnesota on the 709. Now keep in mind, these youngsters are battling the same weather that everybody else has to battle tonight. 0 degrees with a real feel of about 10 below, and the winds are dropping that wind chill factor even lower. So it is a chilly Saturday night here at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota, but the hardy racers are going to give it another go as we prepare for the second main event for each of our classes. There will be 16 races total as we run through the second mains here.
You can see lined up on the very inside, closest sled to the camera, the 25B, Bowden Nelson, fresh off a feature race win earlier today. Lined up and ready to go. We'll see how feature race number 2 might go for our competitors. And the green flag flies. Nelson out front early, but down to the inside. The 168 of Benton Rolfe was starting off strong as well on that red sled, but who's going to be first into that right-hand hairpin corner?
We've got one of them has blown the turn, wants to have some time on the big track. He's going around to the left hand. Everybody else taking that right-hand turn onto the second straightaway of the micro oval. We had a 6-racer battle at the front of the field. Now it's 5 riders battling for the number 1 spot.
A little bumping and banging for third and fourth as we've got 2 that have locked up. I believe that red sled might possibly be the 168 of Benton Rolfe. I believe he was sitting in third.
Yeah, I got the treads up on the skis of the competitor right behind him there, so they're literally locked together. They're going to try and get them pulled apart as this 4-racer battle at the front of the field continues to come up the second straightaway and take that right-hander back onto the front stretch of the big track.
Looks like I was incorrect with the numbers. Rolfe still sitting in second, but up to the top spot now. The 25B of Bowden Nelson leading the charge. The 22 of Nash Betterly sitting in third place right now.
As we mentioned during mains number 1 for this class, racers ranging in age from 7 all the way down to 3 years. So all those other individuals that you see on the track are moms and dads and older brothers and family members cheering them on, trying to help these youngsters hone their craft in snowcross.
Now you'll see with these youngsters, like we were saying, they're pretty young out there. So we're giving them a little bit abridged version of the big track. We don't have them on the full-size track, just on a little micro oval here. We'll have a couple races here to start off this second set of feature races before we go back to the full-size main track. Right now we see a little bit of a pile up there on the southwest end of the micro oval. There we go. We clear it up.
Leads to a drag race. But even though we've given these youngsters an abridged oval here, a smaller, tighter micro oval, once they get onto the main straightaway of the big track, as you see them taking the white flag there, they still have that full-sized rhythm section to deal with that the bigger sleds have to handle after the main finish line.
Yeah, and these youngsters out there on these smaller sleds, it's hard to tell from the video, but some of those rhythm section jumps are actually bigger than the sleds and riders themselves. So even though they do have this smaller version of the track, they're battling through these bigger sections as well.
Look at this, 2 racers elbow to elbow, ski to ski as they work their way around that final turn. Up that straightaway towards what should be the display of the checkered flag. There is your checkered flag. 120 stock racers wrapping up their second main event of the night.
As we let the rest of our competitors in race number 1 take their checkered flag, we will be having our next race as well on this micro oval. For race number 2, our 120 improved stock class heat race winner, or not heat race, first feature race winner was the 292 of Sauk Center, Minnesota's Elliot Massman. And we actually had a scratch in this race earlier on. Jameson Labs wasn't able to make it due to some sled issues. So we had the 823 of Cooper Schoen out of Elk River, Minnesota as well. It was a mano-a-mano battle. We'll see if Jameson Labs was able to get things all situated on his sled for this second round of features.
In any sort of motorsports, obviously there's intense competition. Everybody wants to finish first, beat their fellow competitors. But also, similar to every other form of motorsports, when you're at this, amateur/Sunday fun day level of competition, while you might battle your fellow competitor tooth and nail on the track, if one of them has an issue, once you're off the track and headed back to the pits, you're going to see 99.9% of these competitors helping each other out. And it would be pretty cool if someone were able to assist the Labs and get the 623 put back together so that Jameson is able to make it out for the second man. I don't know exactly what the mechanical issue was that presented Jameson with that DNS in the first main event, but snowcross racers are the type of racers who would help their competitor out in an effort to make sure that they can get a sled back out onto the snow.
Especially at this level, it's definitely more of a family atmosphere. And it looks like I do see a third sled up there. Not sure if it's for this class or for the next one. Looks like it might be for the next one. So it looks like
That's
Labs
unfortunate.
unfortunately wasn't able to make it back out there. Must have had some stronger difficulties than initially anticipated. So it'll be the 292 of Massman and the 823 of Schoen.
I tell you, talking about Elliott and Cooper, who are out on the track, they had a pretty good battle in their first main event. They were going at it tooth and nail, battling each other pretty fiercely, but clean for their first.
Well, look at who we
Jameson
have
get
here.
a ride?
The 623 of Jameson Labs. Seems as though Labs' sled is ready to go. So we will
that's
be
wonderful.
3 wide for this race. Now, like you were saying, Massman and Schoen were able to put on a heck of a show for us earlier. You know, they may have been 1v1, but they stayed within half a sled length of each other, did a few swap backs and forth. So now we're only going to have some more fun by adding that third racer out there. Excited to see what Labs is able to do. Now, Labs is the youngest of the 3 racers. Massman at a whopping elderly 8 years old. Schoen, 7 years old. Labs is coming in as the youngster, a mere 5 years old, but we'll see if he might be able to give these other 2 a run for their money. Green flag flies. It's a drag race out front early. Race leader is going to be the 292 of Massman, but don't look now. Schoen with a move to the outside. He pushes a little high, but he's able to tuck it down. Schoen is your new race leader as we make our way onto the backstretch.
Schoen was able to drive it a bit deeper into that right-hand first turn and was able to complete the pass and overtake the lead, and he's now trying to stretch it. You can see all 3 of them actually pushing a bit on that lower east end turn, and Jameson staying right there with him. Young 5-year-old. Oh, just as I bring up his name, it looks like he stalled it down in the the east end. Excuse me.
Now, if you'll remember from earlier, you were saying how Schoen was able to push it a little harder going into that first hairpin turn, made it work for him. During the first feature race of the day, he actually did the same thing, but pushed too far, went way wide and off the track. This time, he was able to adapt from those issues he had earlier on, and out front right now, he is your current race leader.
There's Jameson Lamb getting a little video time on MBTV Sports after missing the first man. Oh, he's going to turn right a little early. The 5-year-old cuts the course.
Trying to make up a little bit of ground there on Schoen and Massman right now, seeing if he might be able to battle back a little bit more in this third place position.
Elliott and Cooper tightened things up actually just a bit there. They were nose to tail as the checker comes out. And now Jameson's going the wrong way. He's headed to the finish line, headed backwards as the other 2 complete their lap and take the checkered flag. And that will wrap up the 120 improved stock main event. But I tell you what, nonetheless, it was nice to see Jameson able to get back out there on the track for the second main event. Congratulations to Elliott, Cooper, and Jameson for some good green flag action in the 120 improved stock class.
That was race number 2. Race number 3 about to hit the track, but as a reminder, race 4, transition 8 to 10, junior 10 to 13. Race 5, kids Ditchbanger 8 to 12, junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17. Race 6, 200 open, 200 stock 4 to 8. And race 7, transition 8 to 12 combined should all be in the staging area. Races 8, 9, and 10 should be making your way up to the staging area soon. But race number 3, we've got a quintuple threat coming at you. 5 different classes about to hit the track. And your starting lineup's going to look like this in the Snow Scoot Snow Sport class. We have 3 competitors. The 75 of Addison Schmeidecker out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. The 75 of Carson Kroschek out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. And the 8 of Leo Schmeidecker, also out of Prior Lake, Minnesota.
In the junior girls class, Gracie Rolfe from Lake City is riding the 168. In the 200 stock class, Big Lake, Minnesota's Isla Borgschatz will be atop the 398.
In the Super 225 kids class, we had the 99 of Easton Geyer out of Buffalo, Minnesota, heat race winner in that, or feature race winner in that class earlier today, and the 17 of Waconia, Minnesota's Auburn Owen, and rounding out your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rider, 5 class field. All alone in the Pro 206 class, it's Foley, Minnesota's 25B of Bowden Nelson.
Good news is that all 8 sleds and all 8 pilots are in the start gate as they prepare for their second main event. This is race number 3 of 16, Pro 206. Super 225 kids, 200 stock 9 to 12-year-old class, Snow Scoot and Snow Sport, along with junior girls under 200 cc. 8 racers in the start gate as we get ready for main event number 2, race number 3. They've got their eyes on the starter just off to the right of the start gate. Flag The green flag is up in the air, and we've got a two-rider drag race. Who's going to lead it across the line for the first one? Nose-to-tail battle in race number 3.
17 of Auburn Owen with the hole shot like we saw earlier today. The 99 of Easton Geyer sitting in second. Now Owen took the hole shot earlier, had some issues in that first lap or near the end of the first lap. So we're going to see if Auburn will be able to hold on to that top spot a little bit longer this time by. 99 of Geyer still holding on to second, and we've got some company right behind in third.
Yeah, nice 4-racer pack right behind that side-by-side 2-racer battle for the lead. There you can see the 4 riders coming into frame for those of you watching the live stream on MBTV Sports. By the way, a big welcome to those of you watching from home. Let us know where you're enjoying this evening's broadcast from. Are you at home? What city? What state? What country? What part of the home? You in the man cave? You in the she shed? You in the garage? You in the family room? And who's all hanging out with you? You got a favorite racer? Send a shout out to them as well. It's an interactive evening here on MBTV Sports live stream from X Racing's Sunday Fun Day at Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota.
We've gotten shout outs before on MBTV Sports from neighboring states, Wisconsin, Iowa. We've gotten them from all over on the East Coast, Kentucky, New York, Maine we got once. We've gotten them on the West Coast. We've even gotten a few saying hi from Canada before, a whole different country. So we always like getting to see where our viewers are viewing us from. We're here in Mazeppa, Minnesota, but just because you may not be able to physically make it out here doesn't mean you can't enjoy a little bit of Sunday Fun Day racing action.
So the 17 machine of Auburn Owen hoping to shake off the bad luck from main event number 1 and put together a strong run. There you see a couple of our competitors headed down into turn 1 before they have some fun on Fallaway Field. White flag is out, by the way. One more lap to go for race number 3, second main.
99 of Easton Geyer holding on. Coming up to the rear end of the 25B of Nelson.
Bowden Nelson there goes a lap down to the 99 of Geyer. Geyer's headed into the West End High Banks around that turn and headed towards the line, getting ready for the checkered flag. Checkered flag is out, and it will be the 99 of Easton Geyer taking the overall win as he competes in the Super 225 Kids class. The rest of the field make their way across the line to wrap up main event 2. Race number 3.
Race number 4 is going to be up next. We have 2 classes about to hit the track. In the junior 10 to 13 class, heat race winner was the 109 of Brettley Kruzmark out of Mazeppa, Minnesota. Here, the hometown hero. Behind him was the 707 of Easton Norman racing from Elk River, Minnesota, alongside Zumbrota, Minnesota's Levi Rostad on the 052.
And Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota is on the Schema Exteriors Jaeger Construction 25K. Cashton is going to climb onto a sled down there in the staging area at the start gate as we prepare for race number 4's second main.
And it looks like we do have to get one of our sleds unstuck there. So in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to a few more of our sponsors here making this season happen for us. Husqvarna, Aeroplax Corporation, Ruck Excavating, Studboy Traction, and Fox Shock, some of our premier sponsors for the 2025-2026 Sunday Fun Day racing season.
Transition 8-10 and junior 10 to 13-year-old, 2 more classes that we have. We have several classes that compete during Sunday Fun Day. And there's a little bit something different in all of them. A lot of them you'll hear an age range, which dictates who can compete. Right now, transition and junior racers are under green flag conditions as the speed shot shows them heading across the finish line jump.
Yeah, so as we were saying, those transition 8 to 10-year-olds, they've got that restricted throttle kit.
Got a rider over. Sled on its side down there at the exit of turn number 1. I'm not sure if that's...
I think that might be the 052 of Levi Rostad.
But Levi's back on the sled, pulling away from the scene of the incidents. No harm, no foul. Levi will rejoin the battle.
Out front, though, it's the 707 of Norman. Finished second in the first feature race of the day. Now it looks like he's holding on to that early lead. Let's take a quick look at what happened here going into that first turn. Ooh, Rostad right into the side of the 109 of Kruzmark with nowhere to go. Now you can see with how cold it is here and with the snow conditions, the heating and refreezing that we've had this past week, it is very icy, more icy than normal. You have a little bit of powder on top, but
yours truly took a tumble during intermission. It's so icy, I ended up on my keister. But these sleds, most of them able to handle it. It was a little bit of contact there that put the 052 of Rostad up on its side. Nice to see Levi able to climb back on that sled, though.
Another lap in the books for the 707 of Norman.
You do bring up an interesting point, though, Zach, that these racers are not only battling the obstacles that the track is presenting, but they're also battling this changing snow, which is, at least in my opinion, as a I'm not a sled racer by trade, but this is a different snow composition than we've seen the first 4 rounds here at Steeplechase.
Yes, much lighter, more powdery, but on top of a very solid layer of ice.
Yeah.
So even walking across the track, you can tell it's drastically different than what we've seen here for the first 4 rounds, which is giving these racers, even though the track itself is very similar to how it has been, it's something else that they've got to battle back from. There we can see the 052 of Rostad. After his little tough tumble there, back up and on 2 skis, which is nice to see. He's going to make his way down the Black Diamond drop and into the West End High Banks for another lap in the books.
The rest of the racers right behind him already taken the checkered flag. They're going to exit the track as Levi is able to remain on track long enough to get the checkered flag. And race number 4, second main event, goes into the books. We get ready for race number 5, another 2-class combo gate.
In the junior Ditchbanger 13 to 17 class, feature race winner earlier was the 521 of Montevideo, Minnesota's Julia Olson. We also had the 310 of Briggs Grove from Zumbrota, Minnesota, and Blooming Prairie, Minnesota's Landon Olivio on the 114.
Nora Tesmer from Millville's riding the 41. Kaylin Weebush from Mazeppa's on the 15. In the kids' Ditchbanger 8 to 12-year-old class, Amelia Tesmer on the 33 and Landon Podine on the 555. Green flag is up. Racers are away. Second main for race number 5 is underway.
Julia Olson with the nice hole shot early, like we saw during the last time. Already put about 10 sled lengths in between those top 2 racers.
What a start for Julia there. Julia is hoping to back up that first main event win with a second main event win with the rainbow colors there on the FX gear as Julia comes out of the West End High Banks, heads toward the line to complete another lap.
A little bit of space before we get back to a nice 3-rider battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Looks like a few of our competitors making their way across the line.
Julia racing that Olson Plumbing and Heating of Montevideo Polaris with assistance from Par Piping, Olson Custom Farms, Midstate Millwrights, Fast Threads, amongst others.
Sitting in second right behind the 114 of Landon Olivio, with a nice little gap ahead and behind as well, sponsored by Landon's Lawn Care. Olivio sitting in second place right now.
It's about half a distance of the what we would call the front straightaway from the final turn of the West End High Banks down to turn 1 before they get onto Fallaway Field. So just as the 521 of Julia was going into turn number 1 with that battle for position taking place in the Fallaway Field, just as Julia was going into turn number 1, the 114 of Landon was crossing the finish line jump.
About an equidistance back, we have a nice 3-rider battle for position at the white flag, I believe that is. Yep. One more lap to go for Olson and Olivo.
Split screen showing this action coming out of the West End High Banks. Speed shot camera gives you an idea of the climb that they have to make to get back up onto the front straightaway where the finish line jump is. The sled comes jumping up out of the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air. Julia Olson's got a W at the end of the second main as well.
Taking the win for Core Pro, CNA Pro Skis, Woody's Traction, and Kibble Equipment. Give it up for Julia Olson. That was race number 5. Race number 6 about to hit the track. Starting lineup is going to look like this. In the 200 open class, all by himself, or all by herself, Isla Bordshots racing the 398 out of Big Lake, Minnesota.
In the 200 stock 4 to 8-year-old class, Bentley Schultz from Zimmerman's on the 10. Rylan Betterly from Cook, Minnesota's on the 99. Rylan with the top 3 finish in the first main.
105 of Brooks Podine racing out of Stewartville, Minnesota. We've got double Lake City, Minnesota racers, the 119 of Archer Ledford and Henry Rolfe on the 168.
Henry Ford from Cambridge, Minnesota is on the 202. Owen Lance from Claremont on the 410.
623 of Jameson Labs out of St. Joseph, Minnesota. A couple Elk River, Minnesota racers, the 712 of Abram Schoen, and your first feature race winner earlier today, the 823 of Cooper Schoen. Green flag flies, and away we go. Down to the inside, looks like we might see a quick repeat. The 823 of Cooper Schoen, taking the whole shot, leading the race early on, but he's got company right behind him.
Yeah, that second place sled pushed just a bit wide exiting turn number 1. They lost a little ground on Cooper, your race leader.
Looks like that's the 623 of Jameson Labs, holding on to that second place spot. Only about 2 sled lengths separate our top 2 competitors. About 2 sleds back, we have a nice side-by-side, or near side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th.
Another 3-rider battle. I was going to say a 2-rider battle, but it's actually a 3-rider battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Looks like that was the 168 of Henry Rolfe sitting in 3rd.
Henry's got a head of steam there on the front straightaway, headed through the rhythm rollers into that first turn. Going to try and make up some ground on the competition. Maybe set up a challenge for position. 623, right? I believe that is. Jameson Labs holding on to the number 2 spot, but it's Cooper Schoen on the 823, your race leader.
Going to come around some lap traffic there, I believe. Schoen and Labs, only about 4 sled lengths separating those 2 racers as they put another lap in the books there. Then we go back to that nice little battle for 3rd and 4th between the 168 of Rolfe, but Rolfe's got company to the inside. Rolfe's gonna go down a position as we've got a new racer ahead. Rolfe fights back though, cuts down, switches back to the inside. Rolfe's back up to that spot.
That was a great crossover maneuver by Henry there. Entered that first turn wide. The sled to the inside, pushed through the first turn, opened that inside lane up. Crossover maneuver by Henry. Henry reclaims the spot that he lost. This time at the line, we're looking for the white flag. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go.
And don't look now, but the 623 of Labs has a whole head of steam. He's only about a sled length behind the leader, Cooper Schoen. He's been putting a battle on this whole race, and he has 1 last lap to do it. We're going to go through the send it squeeze, come up on some lap traffic there. We'll see if this will affect our battle for the lead.
Yeah, and Cooper got a little out of shape there right after the finish line jump. That really allowed the 623 of Jameson to close the gap. Jameson's going to look to the inside. There is a yellow flag flying there. They get the sled out of the way at the exit of the turn. Nothing's going to change. Checkered flag is in the air. Cooper Schoen holds on for a second main event win tonight.
Taking the win for Aeroplax, but man, the 623 of Jameson Labs sure put up a hard-fought battle for a solid second place finish for JK Monuments, AKA Electric, Agricool, Little Benz, and BK Distributing.
Yeah, great job closing the gap there and at least putting himself into position to potentially make a challenge.
That was race number 6. 7 is up next. But race number 8, plus 30 Snowcross, 808 50cc Open 18 plus. Race 9, Ditchbanger 90-09 Heat 1. And race 10, Ditchbanger 90-09 Heat 2 should all be in the staging area. Races 11, 12, and 13 should be making your way up. Race number 7, though, your starting lineup will look like this. Feature race 1 number winner was the 707 of Easton Norman out of Elk River, Minnesota. Behind him in second, the 25K of Cashton Nelson from Foley, Minnesota. And the 75 of Prior Lake, Minnesota's Addison Schmeideker rounded out your 3 sled field. That is race number 7 about to hit the track here.
So we get a couple of sleds off the track. We had one that experienced an issue at the exit of the West End High Banks, and then we had another one that experienced an issue right at the exit point of the track. I believe we're getting them all cleared up, and then we'll be ready to go green flag racing again. One more time, a note to those of you in the pit area, races 8, 9, 10, and 11 should be, if you're not already in staging, heading that direction or wrapping up your final preps so that you can get to staging so that we can zip through the second half of our main events. Race number 7 is in the start gate. Race number 7 of 16 on a chilly Saturday night. Round number 5 of X Racing's Sunday Fun Day, coming to you live from Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota.
Well, we have a quick break in the action. I want to send a thank you to a few more of our sponsors: Woody's Traction, Podine's Power Equipment, Hanko Utilities, Moto Pros, and Cannon Power Sports, all along for the ride for the 2025-2026 season. If you know anyone, or if you are a part of a business that is looking to become a sponsor of some of the racing action here, feel free to get in contact with us, either Matt Bull at MBTV Sports or Joe Duncan as a part of the X Racing crew. We are always looking for more sponsors, more local and area businesses to help give shout outs throughout the season here. You know, if you want to work with us, we're always happy to do so. And on the MBTV Sports side of things, just a reminder, you know, we mentioned it a little earlier today, but we have officially booked out our entire 2026 year. But we are starting to look ahead to 2027 as well.
So we're going to give our medical staff the time necessary to attend to one of our racers there at the exit of the West End High Banks, which means we have a minute or two to continue the conversations. What a great 2025 season that we wrapped up at the end of the year, and as you were just mentioning, with a full slate of action scheduled for 2026. A great opportunity for all of you to be involved with MBTV Sports, whether or not it's in a sponsorship scenario or maybe just as a viewing position. We would love to hear from you. Let us know what you like about MBTVsports.com. Let us know if you've got any ideas of things that you think would make our free live streaming even better. MBTV Sports trying our darndest to spread the word of some fun local and regional motorsports activity here in the Upper Midwest.
Exactly, and as a reminder for our racers here in the grandstands right now, you know, we are live streaming tonight's and tomorrow's coverage for free on MBTVsports.com and through the affiliated MBTV Sports YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you have any friends or family who either, you know, didn't want to trek out into this chilly weather this evening, you know, they're out of town, out of state, couldn't make it all the way over here, you want to show them your racing efforts, or heck, even if you want to show off to some of your enemies, feel free to send them those links so they can watch all of the racing action we have to offer you folks at Steeplechase Ski Resort here for round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday season.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
the LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I could get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, that is.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere.
Accessibility, our goal is to help people.
Welcome back to Steeplechase Ski Resort in Mazeppa, Minnesota. Those of you watching online enjoying snowcross as part of X Racing's Sunday Fun Day 2025-2026 season. We're about ready to turn loose the transition 8 to 12-year-old combined class. 3 racers ready to battle for a main event win.
25K of Nelson, 75 of Schmeideker, 707 of Norman, all take the green flag, and it's Norman out front early. Nelson to his right on the outside, sitting in second. The 75 of Schmeideker rounding out your 3-sled field for the transition 8 to 12 combined class.
Easton Norman has shown in both main events tonight that quick reflexes pay dividends out of that start gate quick getting, well, you'd call it the whole shot in other sports, but this was just to get to the finish line first and keep everybody else behind. So you can see that quick start has paid dividends as the 707 of Easton Norman enjoys a lengthening lead on the rest of the field.
Yes, he's already putting a nice gap in between him and the 25K of Nelson. Sara was already up to about a third of a straightaway advantage in just the first lap that we're having here right now. He's making his way through the Black Diamond drop, up through that little double section into the West End high banks as he makes his way onto the front straightaway to put another lap into the books here at Steeplechase Ski Resort.
Green flag conditions in the transition 8 to 12-year-old combined class. And for those of you watching, hey, I tell you what, you got a sled at home? Are you a snow aficionado? Well, come join us. We've got plenty of more Sunday Fun Day events coming up, including tomorrow. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, for round number 3 and 4, Zach, you and I were over in the Steeplechase Ski Resort Lodge, and I was talking with some of the competitors, and one of them said, I literally saw a highlight reel on Facebook from MBTV Sports that someone had shared to me, and I thought, hey, I can do that. I'm bringing a sled. They'd never done it before. They came out and had themselves a good time. So if you want to get involved with Sunday Fun Day X Racing Snowcross, come and give it a try. I think you will be hooked quickly.
There's a class for everyone here. No matter what level of expertise you are sitting at, white flag is out. One more lap to go for the 707 of Elk River, Minnesota's Easton Norman.
Easton's going to have to try to work around the, is that the 707? Yep, Easton's on the 707. Is that the 75, of Addison Snedeker, that is going to go a lap down to your race leader. And Addison. Did Addison go off track?
I was going to say, it looks like she may have gone off the side. Oh, she's back on now.
There we go. Checkered flag is out by the way. Easton Norman picking up a second main event win in the transition 8 to 12 combined class. But the good news is that Cashton and Addison both able to make it to the checkered flag to wrap up that race number 7 second main.
Easton Norman taking the win today for Northland Crane Service, Markin Materials, B&L Trailers, and Norman Trucking. Race number 8 going to be up next. 2 classes hitting the track in the plus 30 snowcross class. We have the 5 of Dylan Dorn out of Zumbro Falls, Minnesota, and Mitchell Fruth piloting the 393 from St. Stephen, Minnesota.
In the 800 850 cc Open 18 plus class, Nick Marsh from Farmington's riding a 72 Polaris. Logan Spletzer from Henderson, Minnesota is on the 916 Polaris, and Jason Spletzer, also from Henderson, is on the 921 Polaris. 5 racers, 4 of them in the start gate. Flag is green. Revs are up, sleds are away.
Dylan Dorn, your early race leader, and it looks like that was the 916 of Logan Spletzler. Holding on to second, but Fruth's gonna go by to the inside. Mitchell Fruth now up to that second place spot, setting his sights on the 5 of Dorn. Dorn, Fruth, Spletzer, 1, 2, 3, as it currently stands.
Single file racing action as they complete the first lap. Nice speeds in this plus 30 snowcross 800 to 500 cc Open 18 plus class. Getting some air in all portions of the track. Jumping up the wall there as you see the 5 of Dylan Dorn continue to hold on to the top spot. Second place sled not too far behind.
Dorn has been an absolute force to be reckoned with this season as he has gone out near the top in almost every race he's been a part of. Quite a few feature race wins so far this season, and he's looking to add another to his book right now. Fruth, on the other hand, another force to be reckoned with as well. He's consistently in the top 2 or 3 spots, has a few feature wins under his belt as well. So it's nice to see Dorn and Fruth battling it out. Dorn getting a little sideways there through turns 3 and 4 in the West End high banks. Going to slow things down slightly as we come up to a yellow flag at the end of the rhythm section on the northeast side of the track.
Not sure if that was a get off. It happened off camera there, but the racer is back on the sled and able to pull away. So good news for all involved. That battle at the front of the pack sneaks past, and that one racer goes a lap down to the top 2.
Looks like that was the 921 of Jason Spletzer, which makes the 72 of Nick Marsh our scratch for this race. As I believe that was the checkered flag.
That was a white flag.
White flag.
One lap to go.
1 lap to go for Dorn. getting a little bobbly there through that rhythm section, but still holding on strong to the lead, keeping it on 2 skis.
Dorn out of Zumbro Falls, racing with support from Ski-Doo, Woody's Traction, FXR's got one final obstacle, and that's this uphill climb. We call it the climb to the checkered flag, and Dylan Dorn on the 5 machine is your plus 30 snowcross second main winner.
393 of Fruth going to finish second overall. The 916 of Logan Spletzer going to finish third overall, but take the win in the 800cc to 850cc Open 18 Plus class for AMSOIL, CNA Pro Skis, Woody's Traction, Brazil Automotive, FXR, Arlington Napa, and CSI.
In staging, we'll be looking for race number 11 competitors, 600 Open, Junior 14 to 17. Also race number 12 competitors, Junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-old, and race number 13 competitors, Ditchbanger Twins and TSS 440 to 600 Invitational class. Right now, 2 groups of Ditchbanger 90 to 09 racers. 9 in the first group, 8 in the second group. Here's your lineup for race number 9, main number 2.
The 4Z of Alex Forsland out of Cambridge, Minnesota, and Jory Cordes out of Zimmerman, Minnesota on the 7.
Flag is green already, and the race starts with a 5-rider battle for the top position. Oh, one racer struggling to stay on the sled. It's going to make it work, and we take him 3 wide into turn number 1, but that's for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as your race leader is out front all alone. Other racers include Scott Kempe on the 24, Tony Burskin, on the 77, Joshua Berg riding 84, Zach Lawrence on the 226X, Mike Pappenfuss on the 439, Kyle Lodemeyer on the 725, and Lucas Halicki on the 726.
Halicki, your early race leader, the 84 of Joshua Berg sitting in second, but we've got a 3-rider battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Who's it going to be to take this final step on the podium? Right now, it looks like it's the 7 of Cordes holding on to 3rd.
Scott Kempe in the 24, I think, also in the battle there, if I'm reading the, yeah, there's Cordes in the yellow sled, number 24, currently running 4th, just behind the 7 of Cordes.
And I think, if I saw that correctly, it was the 77 of Tony Burskin in 5th, right behind. Out front, though, still the 726 of Lucas Halicki leading the charge. Again, he's been a force to be reckoned with all season long, consistently out front. Took the feature race win earlier today, looking to make it 2 for 2 on the evening as he puts another lap in the books here in the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 Heat 1 class, doubling over the start-finish line jump.
Boy, a potentially hair-raising moment there as Halicki's 726 didn't quite land sideways, but that rear end was beginning to fade just a little bit to the left. And the last thing you want to do is land one of these sleds sideways. That'll most definitely send you topside quick.
One thing to keep in mind, now, we are on a ski slope right now, so they're going up and over these start-finish line jumps here, getting some air, but the ground is slightly slanted down to the left, so you'll see a little bit of those drifts coming out when they get a little air there. So another thing the riders are having to battle against here.
There's Halicki going downhill. Actually, that is a ski slope, one of the ski hills that skiers use when we're not racing the sleds here. We call it the fall-away field because that drop from turn 1 down to the send-it squeeze, which would be turn 2, is quite dramatic. Not only are they dropping down, they're also picking up speed as they head to the tightest part of the track.
Another time up the climb. White flag is out. One more lap to go for our competitors in heat number 1 of 2 for the Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class, as Halicki's going to make his way one final time through the west end high banks onto the front straightaway. He's going to make his way up the climb. North Central International, Mankato, Minnesota, JT Bar and Grill, CSI, Maple Groves. Lucas Halicki is going to take the win on the 726 machine today.
Built up quite an advantage on this multi-sled battle for 3rd on back as the 2nd place racer sneaks by, or the 2nd sled there. Look at this shootout coming down to the line. Side by side, the 24 and the 84. I'm not sure I want to call that one.
Tight racing all throughout. The Ditchbanger 90 to 09 class, always consistently a fun class to watch. It's our biggest class we have week in, week out. Class is so big, every week we have to split it up into at least 2 classes because there's too many racers for it. 9 in that first one. Now we're about to head into heat number 2 for the Ditchbanger 90-09 class. Starting lineup, we have the 63 of Tim Burskin out of Buffalo, Minnesota. Zumbrota, Minnesota's very own Michael Rude on the 101.
Nathan Crawford rides the 104. Joshua Podine on the 151.
Finishing second earlier today out of Milford, Iowa is the 282 of Ryan Brown. And your first feature race winner, the 580 of Brian Witham from St. Paul, Minnesota.
Dan Weiland from Hortonville, Wisconsin is on the 621. And Jaeger Cordes from Duluth, Minnesota is on the 731. Flag is green. Race conditions are underway as they zip past the speed cam and head towards turn number 1 through the rhythm rollers.
Ryan Witham, your early race leader. Right behind him, though, the 282 of Ryan Brown. 1 and 2, just like we saw earlier on during the first feature race. Right behind them, a 3-rider battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's the 621 of Daniel Weiland sitting in 3rd place, as now we've got a little gap before we get back to that now 2-rider battle for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, for now, Weiland's got that 3rd place spot in his pocket, but you never know what's going to transpire here behind them as they're still side-by-side battling for 4th and 5th. I apologize, just missed the numbers on those 2 sleds who are in that battle for 4th and 5th. Weiland can see 2nd, maybe the race leader, which is the 580 machine of Brian Witham.
Single file throughout the field. Our top 3 starting to spread a little bit of distance between them. We've got about a 5-6 sled length gap between 1st and 2nd, and about the same between 2nd and 3rd as Witham puts another lap in the books here. Your current race leader and earlier feature race winner today, Brian Witham, out front.
Interesting lane choice there as you saw the top 2 on the extreme inside of the rhythm rollers there at the end of the Hail Mary Highway, that front straightaway. We've seen a lot of racers tending to favor running right down the middle of the straightaway, or maybe even fading a bit to the outside. Look, the top 2 are way down along the bales on the inside. Let's see if they do that again this time. Nope, they're going to run way to the outside. So they're trying to figure out which is the most comfortable lane through the rhythm rollers at the end of the front straightaway. Still green flag conditions as they've got a lap and a half, I believe, to go in this second main event for the second group of Ditchbanger 90-09 racers.
Witham, Brown, and Weiland still your top 3. But Weiland's got some company behind him growing. The 104 of Nathan Crawford finished 3rd in the first feature, looking to try to take over that spot again as the white flag flies. 1 more lap to go for the 580 of Brian Witham out front.
Here's Witham again, way down to the inside, and the 282 of Ryan Brown thinks, you know what, if that's where he's running, I'm going to follow him and try and get just as much speed in that inside line. I have not seen that separation from 1st to 2nd decrease at all. It may have stretched in length, actually, just a little bit on that prior lap.
One last time onto the front straightaway. He's going to make the climb up to the checkered flag, and it's going to fly for St. Paul, Minnesota's Brian Witham on the 580. It'll be the 282 of Ryan Brown finishing 2nd, and let's see that battle for 3rd and 4th. Who's got it? It's the 621 of Daniel Weiland by about half a sled length. The 104 of Crawford going to round out your top 4.
Race number 11, 600 Open 18 plus modern and junior 14 to 17 in the 600 Open class. We have Dylan Dorn riding the 5, DJ Marsh on the 38, Peyton Smith riding the 068.
Feature race winner was the 109 of Aiden Leonard from Lake City, Minnesota, and Garrett Keel racing the 248 from Owine, Iowa.
In the junior 14 to 17-year-old class, Jackson Hedrava from Walker, Minnesota on the 116, and Julie Olson from Montevideo back for another spin on the 521. That'll be 7 racers, and in the start gate, we've got all 7 present and accounted for as they watch for that green flag to go skyward. It does, and away they go.
7 racers onto the track for a nice speed cam shot there.
That was a great run up the climb and across the finish line. Jump there. Look at the top 4 duking it out here for space as 3rd and 4th were just centimeters apart through the send-it squeeze. I believe they've got that one figured out. Everybody's safely into the West End High Banks.
109 of Leonard, your early race leader. Can't quite catch the number of the racer in 2nd, but it's the 5 of Dorn sitting in 3rd. And we've got a little bit of a gap before we get back to 4th on back. Sitting in 2nd, though, I believe that might be, is that the 38? No, it's the 068 of Peyton Smith sitting in second, splitting the difference there.
Nice camera work there, helping us out.
Smith wasn't even in the top 3 in the first feature race of this class. Already up to second now, as he's trying to reel in the 109 of Aiden Leonard.
Yeah, so you will see, multiple different preferences from the racers. Some like to take these turns on the inside. There we just saw our race leader in the second place sled trying to use the banking to their advantage, way on the outside of the first turn there. Obviously, though, that is about 50 feet further out, which is simply more distance that they have to cover. So if they're going to use that berm on the outside of the turn, they've also got to keep their speeds up, and that's what your race leader is able to do all the way down through the send it squeeze before climbing that wall to get onto the back straightaway. It continues to be the 109 of Aiden Leonard, your race leader.
Leonard with a great run right now. He's one of the few racers I've seen all day who's able to up and over that start-finish line jump, double single through that rhythm section. So he's got quite a bit of speed behind him. Smith there, we're going to see both Smith and Dorn able to double that first jump, but then they single through the rest of the pack.
And that, getting that rhythm down adds so much speed, momentum, and quite frankly, comfort to get into that first turn that will allow the racer to push it that much more. Ooh, that was a tight one there in the turn.
Dorn tried to muscle through, wasn't quite able to as the checkered flag flies. It'll be the 109 of Aiden Leonard taking the win for Skidoo, Climb, Rocks, and Studboy. The 068 of Peyton Smith able to hold on by a hair for second. The 5 of Dorn gonna have to settle for a third place podium finish.
Boy, the separation looked like from about the tip of the ski back to maybe the headlight was about all that separated second from third there. We get ready for junior Ditchbanger 10 to 13-year-olds, race 12 second main.
Starting lineup will go the 00 of Charles Nagus from Elk River, Minnesota, and Spring Valley, Minnesota's 5 of Wesley Sweeney.
Jude Slifka's on the 11, Brentley Kruzmark's on the 72, and Harrison Reznicek on the 99.
First feature race winner was the 499 of Harrison Hurst out of Spring Valley, Minnesota, and Landon Podine will round out your 7 racer field on the 555 out of Stewartville, Minnesota. This is race number 12 about to hit the track. After this, race number 13, Ditchbanger Twins and the Thomas Snow Sport 440 to 600 Invitational. Race 14, 15, and 16. All of our races should be in the staging area by now as we take the green flag and away we go.
Top 2 were side by side for a moment. Now it's a 3-racer battle for second, third, and fourth as our race leader is able to pull away just a bit, but a nice shootout there with that 3-racer freight train, followed by 2-3 more competitors who will mix up positions here through this first lap.
The 499 of Harrison Hurst was your first feature race winner. Looks like Hurst is currently sitting in third right now. I believe he may have possibly just moved up to that second place position, but down 1 from where he finished earlier on today. Out front, though, it is the 99 of Harrison Reznicek. Now, if you'll remember from the first feature race here, Reznicek did start off strong, but had some issues going into that first-hand corner.
Is my memory right? Is he the one that stalled and had to pull down into the infield and then was able to refire? There we've got a sled right in the middle groove there of the High Bank West End turn. So the 99 of Reznicek's going to hold on to the lead.
As the 555 of Podine having some issues in the West End High Banks.
Try and breathe some life back into that Polaris with Podine's power equipment along for support this year, but return our attention to that 3-rider battle at the front of the field. Nothing has changed yet.
It's still Reznicek and Hurst 1 and 2 as Podine's able to get things refired. We're back to green flag conditions across the track, but now they'll be coming up on the rear end of the triple nickel there. We'll see if this might play into our top 2 spots at all.
Still green flag conditions, and right before the yellow had come out, the 499 of Hurst had closed the gap quite a bit on the 99 of Reznicek. Reznicek that time able to pull away a little bit, but the 499 battles back and tightens it up. We may end up with a shootout here for the win.
Down to the inside. Hurst trying to make a move. They're side by side in the West End High Banks. Hurst able to take over that top spot as we're coming up to the white flag. 1 more lap to go for the 499 of Hurst. Trying to make it 2 for 2 as he's bumping and banging, seat hopping.
almost
able to stay up.
Yeah, I tell you, he got sideways to the right, almost tucked that right front ski into the snow there, but he was able to muscle his way back out of it and powered away, holds on to the lead.
Wow, that was quite a save there.
Yeah. Final time around the final turns here, and he'll have to handle the climb, but it'll be no problem. It'll be the 499 of Harrison Hurst picking up the win at the end of main event number 2. The 99 of Harrison Resnicek battles back from a not perfect first main event and gets to enjoy a second place finish.
Hurst taking the win today for Southland Auto and Diesel of Spring Valley and Bluff Brothers Brewing. That was race number 12. Race number 13 is going to be up next. Starting lineup for Ditchbanger Twins, we'll have the 7 of Jory Cordes out of Zimmerman, Minnesota, and your feature race winner, the 068 of Montevideo, Minnesota's Peyton Smith.
Milford, Iowa's Ryan Brown will be atop the Browns Lawn and Landscaping 282 with Daniel Weiland from Hortonville on the Weiland Farm 621.
725 of Zumbrota, Minnesota's Kyle Laudermeyer racing for Star Wash and Roscoe Center Repair, and the 810 of Duluth, Minnesota's Nathan Ramshack round out your Ditchbanger Twins starting lineup. All alone in the Thomas Snow Sport 440 to 600 invitational class. It's the 7 of Zimmerman, Minnesota's Brian Schultz racing for Schultz Synthetics. Green flag is out, and our racers are ready to go. And out front early, just like we saw during the first feature, it's the 068 of Peyton Smith leading the charge. Right behind him, we've got a 4-rider battle for position. I believe it was the 282 of Brown that had been sitting in second. We see the 621 of Weiland there in the mix as well.
Joey Cordes on the 7, able to make a move there up into the top 3, I believe. So the 7 up to the number, is that third? I think that's 3rd in the running order. Yes, absolutely. And backsliding 1 position to 4th. They're single file for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th as your race leader continues to pull away.
The 810 of Ramshack rounding out your top 5. But 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all still in pretty close quarters with each other.
It was a nice battle there through the sended squeeze. They were side by side for 3rd and 4th, right behind the 2nd place sled. That time at the line, about 1/3 of the straightaway length from 1st back to 2nd.
Smith's been having a pretty solid day so far. Putting a nice little gap in there in this Ditchbanger Twins class. As now the battle is turned into a 2nd and 3rd place battle, I believe. The 282 of Ryan Brown holding on to that 2nd place spot. The 7, Jory Cordes, sitting in 3rd.
So it's the 068 of Peyton Smith, your race leader. Peyton's got a lap and a half left to go before we wrap up this 13th race, 2nd main event. But of course, anything can happen in a lap and a half. We will see if Peyton's going to be able to hold it together. Peyton racing with support this year from Olson Plumbing, Burmeister Auto Body, Edward Jones, and Grandma Hobbs down in Montevideo, Minnesota. Peyton Smith still your race leader. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for the racer in orange and black.
One final time through the rhythm section on the southeast end of the track. He's going to make his way down to the sended squeeze, but he has got a comfy gap built between himself and the 282 of Ryan Brown. Down the Black Diamond drop, he'll make his way into the West End High Banks before one final time onto the front straightaway.
Checkered flag is what awaits the 068 of Peyton Smith. Smith with the Ditchbanger Twins, 2nd main event win. And Smith is going to go 1-1 tonight. A great 5th round of the X Racing's Sunday Fun Day program for Montevideo, Minnesota's Peyton Smith.
Final 3 races about to hit the track here. All racers should be in the staging area as we're about to finish things off here for the night. But race number 14 is going to be Junior Open, 18 and under. Your starting lineup has Walker, Minnesota's 116 of Jackson Hadrava and the 252 of Carter Bastier out of New Prague, Minnesota.
Rounding out the 3-rider lineup is your first main event winner, Briggs Grove from Zumbrota, riding the 310. So 3 racers, Junior Open 18 and under class. This is race number 14, which will be followed obviously by races number 15 and 16 to wrap up the Saturday portion of this weekend's activity, X Racing Sunday Fun Day. Snowcross at Steeplechase Ski Resort. Green flag is up, and our Junior Open 18 and under class is away.
Early race leader, just like we saw during the first feature, it's the 310 of Briggs Grove. Setting the pace, leading early on, the 116 of Jackson Hadrava sitting in second. Carter Bastier rounding out the top three.
Early in the first main event, flip-flop for second and third as they were following the 310 of Briggs Grove, but it was Bastier and Hadrava running second and third with Bastier in second, but now it is the 116 of Hadrava. Hopefully trying to stay with the 310, maybe even set up a challenge as the third place sled. A little huckabuck going there through the rhythm rollers, is able to keep it under control. No harm, no foul. We stay green, and that battle for the lead rages on.
Hadrava is keeping Grove in his sights. You know, now we're up to about a 2 sled length gap. But most of that last lap, they were right on each other's tails. Hadrava looking to make a move down to the inside, not quite able to do it this time around, but he's still going to keep an eye on Briggs Grove out front.
Last time it was the level portion of the back straightaway after that wall jump and before the black diamond drop, which is where Grove was really able to separate away from Hadrava. Let's see if that happens again this time. Hadrava right there off the rear of the leader's sled. Not quite as dramatic, but you can see that Grove was again able to stretch it just a bit there.
Grove able to gain a little bit of distance outside of those curves there, but on these straightaways, Hadrava is really able to gain a bit of ground, especially through the rhythm section here, going from about a 3 sled length gap down to right on his tail, half a sled length there, maybe a full sled length.
It appears that maybe Jackson's able to drive it a bit deeper into the turn. That's where he's picking up some of the ground that is lost on the straightaway when Grove is able to open it up a little bit. West End High Banks here for the top two, and as they come to the line, it'll be the white flag. One more lap to go for this two-racer battle at the front of the Junior Open 18 and under class.
We've got 1 lap left to go to see if Hadrava will be able to mount a challenge for the lead. He goes a little to the outside to tuck it down low. Through the send it squeeze.
Boy, Jackson can taste it, can he?
He can see that it is in his sights. It might still be possible. This is the area where Grove's been able to pull away. Let's see if he can do so again this time.
Jackson taking a look to the outside as they get into the West End High Banks. Maybe a crossover attempt here. Let's see if he can get the skis to bite. It's a drag race up to the line to the checkered flag. Who's got it? Wow, what a battle.
Just about side by side. Man, that was some close racing.
Maybe half of a sled length?
Maybe that. But the advantage still goes to the 310 of Briggs Grove.
That was a fun battle, right down to the finish. And a tip of the cap, I mean, honestly, to Jackson. Jackson is going to be like, man, that sucked. They didn't get the win, but what a great battle, what a great challenge. So tip of the cap to Jackson there with a great run.
Exactly. You know, we always, at the end of the day, want to be the first to the checkered flag, but you know, when you have some of those fun side-by-side battles like that, it becomes just as fun as well. That was race 14. Race 15 up next. Ditchbanger triples, 48 of Morgan Call, 398 of Darren Borgshots. Ditchbanger 03 to 16. It's the 393 of Fruth, 226 of Lawrence, and 101 of Rude.
3 of the expected 5 out there on the track as they begin loading the gate for the 16th and final main event. Speed Shot showing us what it's like. If you look west, you're going to see the racers on the track come into screen. There they are on the West End High Banks. We had one rider get off down there in turn number 1. There's the camera action picking him up after he's back on the sled and pulling away.
Out front, early race leaders, Fruth is, and there he's off.
Battled it through 2 rollers there. Thought he was going to wrestle it back under control. Kill switch shuts the sled safely down. Now he's going to climb back on, pull it back to life, get back underway.
I almost thought he had saved it. Let's take a quick replay of what happened here. Trying to take over the lead there, gets a little sideways. Seat bounces, can hold on through those first 2 rollers.
Well, I'm kind of wondering, he came over that finish line jump with so much speed. I almost wondered if he thought he was going to land on the leader and maybe had to pull back a little bit with that landing and then upset the sled a little bit, but glad to see him back on the machine.
That's exactly what Fruth wanted to see, those. Now he's looking over his shoulder. He sees he has quite a bit of a gap here. He doesn't have to push it too hard to hold on to this top position right here. So, you know, at this point, Fruth's just thinking, I got to stay on all my skis here, see what could have happened right behind me. So just need to make sure I can make it to the checkered flag, which is now 1 lap away. A white flag is flying. for 393 of Mitchell Fruth.
Fruth is able to look over his shoulder there in turn number 1 and is probably thinking, wow, just a moment ago you were all over the rear of my sled, but now I've got quite a bit of separation, so discretion being the better part of valor is just going to take a nice easy lap to the checkered flag and enjoy the main event win. Ditchbanger triples and Ditchbanger 03 to 16. Checkered flag is out. Let's check that replay again.
Ditchbanger 03 to 16. It's the 390.
That was a classic seat bounce.
So yeah, you can see that this rhythm section definitely testing the racers here, making sure that they are all, understanding of their machines, of the track conditions. We've seen a few dumps and spills there, but racers able to get through. That was race 15. Race 16, our final feature race of the night, about to hit the track. All alone, the WSAX 440 improved class feature race winner was the 726 of Lucas Hollicky.
In the WSAX Open class, Scott Kempe on the 1, as we've got 2 racers in this last main event of the night. Garrett Keel on the 248, Ryan Brown on the 282, and Jaeger Cordes riding the 580.
Looks like it'll be a mano-a-mano battle between Hollicky and the 282 of Brown, going 1v1 here. Hollicky finished on the top spot of the box for the first feature. Brown had to settle for second. Now, no matter what, both of these racers are going to be going home with a feature race win tonight. But at the end of the day, we always want to take the overall as well. And right now, Hollicky holding on to that spot.
Hollicky's been pretty near bulletproof the last couple of rounds here. He's had several good runs with that 726, and tonight looks like he's en route to pick up 2 overall wins, and of course 2 wins in that 440 improved class. Hollicky, 17 years old, out of New Prague, Minnesota, just has to zip a little east to race here at Steeplechase Ski Resort. He's loving it. A couple more laps to go before we wrap up the night with MBTV Sports live streaming coverage of X Racing's Sunday Funday Snowcross.
As a reminder, we will be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, round number 6. Gates and registration open at 8 a.m. We got the riders meeting at 9:15 a.m. Practice will be at 10:15 a.m. And our first heat race of the day will fly at 11 a.m. We will be live streaming tomorrow's events again for free on mbtvsports.com and through the Facebook and YouTube pages. So make sure to join us. Around 10:45 tomorrow, give or take, is when we'll be going live here at MBTV Sports. Back out on the track, though, Hollicky, still your race leader as we are nearing the white flag, making his way through the West End high banks. Going to go up through the climb. Looks like we've got 2 more laps left here in this race. And as we've seen, that rhythm section putting these racers to the test, so Hollicky going slow, making sure he can stay on all skis here. Don't want to go up and over on the last race of the evening.
Black Diamond drop awaits Hollicky there on the 726 machine. West End high banks, left-hand turn. Now the climb to get to the white flag. 1 more lap to go to wrap up our final main event of the 5th round of green flag action of X Racing's Sunday Fun Day. It's Lucas Hollicky on the 726 and Garrett Keel on the 248. Both these racers technically running in their own class, so leaders in their classes. They'll each get a number 1 plate at the end of the night, and hopefully they'll both be back tomorrow for actual Sunday Fun Day racing on Sunday.
Final time, up the climb and over the start-finish line jump. Checkered flag goes to the 726 of Lucas Hollicky, taking the checkered for North Central International, JT's Bar and Grill, and CSI Maple Grove. And it's the 282 of Ryan Brown taking the win in the open class for Brown's Lawn and Landscape, Jay Cox Power Sport, and Fly Racing.
Yeah, I apologize. Earlier I called him Garrett Keel, but Ryan Brown, of course, on the track.
Well, Just like that, we have officially come to a close for round number 5 of the 2025-2026 Sunday Funday Racing Series here at Steeplechase Ski Resort as a part of X Racing Sunday Funday. Like we were saying earlier, we will be back tomorrow bright and early for round number 6. Before we finish things off for the night, just want to once again send a quick shout out. Happy birthday to Jake Adams, a big old 21st birthday going on this evening. Hope you had a great night here at Sunday Funday. Excited to see you back again tomorrow. And we're excited to see all of you again. We will be live streaming tomorrow's events for free on mbtvsports.com and through the Facebook and YouTube pages. On behalf of everyone here at MBTV Sports and X Racing, my name is Zach Bailey, here with Dan Bailey and Matt Bohl. Joe Duncan is a part of X Racing. We will see you all tomorrow for round number 6. Good night, everybody.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bohl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thanks.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Toe Pro has made that happen.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellercells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood, every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.